Yeah, I would never put my hands on it, ever. I've never put my hand on a child, ever. I've never taken my eyes off of those kids.
That is Melissa Calusinski. She is 22 years old. She is a teacher's assistant in the toddler room of a daycare center in Lincolnshire, Illinois, and she has just been told for the first time what the coroner found.
The reason that we were called in this incident is because Ben's skull was fractured. Okay? We're sure that somebody did this to him. Where it's a medical certainty that somebody's done this to him. What we need to know right now is if this was done by accident or did somebody intentionally hurt.
Everybody else who worked in that building is being interviewed today as a witness. Melissa is the only one being interviewed as a suspect, and nobody has told her that. Over the next hours, she will give these two detectives 3 different versions of the same 90 seconds. The version she has not thought of yet is the one that convicts her. On the morning of Wednesday, the 14th of January, 2009, a 16-month-old boy was carried into that room by his mother. His name was Benjamin Kingan. Everyone called him Ben. He had a twin sister in the same room. He was still learning to walk, so he would pull himself up on somebody's trouser leg, and a teacher would take both his hands and walk him in slow circles across the carpet. He had 2 words. One was ball. The other was nice. There was a rocking chair against the far wall, and his blanket lived beside it, and a small chair by the snack table that the staff called his spot, because that is where he always sat. At around 4 o'clock that afternoon, Ben crawled to that chair for the last time. Just after 4, Ben stopped responding. His teachers began CPR on a changing table, while the center's director called 911. He was taken to Condell Medical Center, and he was pronounced dead that evening. The next morning, a pathologist working for the Lake County coroner performed the autopsy and reported a fractured skull, and the Lake County Major Crime Task Force was called in. 2 days later, detectives arrived at the daycare before it opened and drove every member of staff away to be interviewed. This is Melissa Calusinski being asked to account for 15 minutes of a Wednesday afternoon. Before she says a word, here is exactly what the 2 men in that room have: an autopsy finding of a skull fracture, a pathologist's opinion that the force involved was equivalent to a fall from the 2nd floor of a building, an opinion that the injury and the loss of consciousness happened within minutes of each other, which, if it is right, puts it inside the window when Melissa was the only adult watching him, and 40 other detectives working the daycare, and every other employee at the same time. Here is what they do not have: no witness, no injury reported that afternoon by anyone, no bruise, no mark, nothing on Ben's face, nothing physical that points at Melissa rather than at anyone else in the building. Everything they get out of her mouth. Watch how. It opens as paperwork: name, height, weight, address, employer, nothing about Ben.
And place of employment obviously is Minnesota.
Minnesota.
How do you spell that?
M-I-N-E-E.
Yeah.
S-U-B-E-E.
And so Lincolnshire. And you've been working here approximately
Well, I've been working for them for
14 months. But at this facility
I transferred I've been there since November, like 2.5, 3 months now.
in Lincolnshire. And prior to that, you were in Arlington Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your job title is?
Teacher assistant.
Teacher assistant, okay. And did you said you'd worked in other similar situations or employment?
At the time, I was doing nannying and babysitting jobs, but before I got this job, I was doing I was working with different things for retail, and my parents own a business too.
Oh, yeah? What do they own?
Notice her baseline. She over-answers. Every question gets more than it asked for. Remember this, because it never changes. For 9 hours, she keeps handing them material.
If you have a teacher certified, they would need all your transcripts and all that.
Okay.
If you were.
Are you certified?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm planning on going back to the schools, and I just recently been paying off school loans too.
Okay. All right. And you said you worked prior to this as a nanny for how long?
I think almost 4 years to the same family.
Oh, okay. And where was that?
in Algonquin.
In Algonquin. Okay. And why'd you leave? You left there to come to Mississippi?
I wanted this as my career, actually, to
Okay.
be in a school with kids and get a better field.
Did you live in a live-in nanny? I'm not sure how that all worked.
Not really. We were actually friends, and after when my sister Crystal was working for Minnie Subi, I took over her job. So we were really close with the family. We're like almost like dogs.
Then the rights get read, framed on the way in as routine, as protocol, as something they are obligated to do with anybody. She waives them, keeps talking, and volunteers something nobody asked about.
So if you wouldn't mind, Sean's going to read you these.
The standard procedure. Basically, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court or other proceedings. You have the right to talk with a lawyer for advice before you ask you any questions and have him with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you free of any cost to you before questioning if you wish. Do you understand all those?
Yes, I do.
Just sign your name. I read these to you.
Fixed.
Excuse me.
I'll be right back.
Thank you. Get that out of the way. So,
Yeah, like a while back, I went through this kind, not this kind of stuff, but similar, because my case got dropped.
maybe what department was that with? Sorry about that. Let me grab my folder.
54110. Small.
This room here. Sorry about that. Listen, what were you saying? What about crisis?
I went through like a case a while back when I was 19, 20,
Mhm.
and I was like put through like counseling and Belgian for that something happened on King County property a while back, but then my case got dropped. People versus people, so the guy walked away.
Okay.
So,
Did you get arrested for that?
no.
What was the?
I wouldn't know how to say it. It's been a while, but it was like with like harm, rape, and all that other stuff. And like my case got dropped and all that because they didn't find enough like evidence or whatever. So.
They accused you of raping someone?
No, the guy. And it was on a forest preserve property and everything.
A guy raped you?
Yeah.
Okay, besides for that instance where you were a victim,
Yeah.
did you ever have any other run-ins with the police?
No.
Okay,
Never.
good.
Pretty much town Carpentersville knows who I am.
Oh, really?
Sometimes.
Is that where you grew up too?
Yeah, and they know my dad, so.
Okay.
He's friends with George.
A lot of policemen like them fishes.
She has just told 2 homicide detectives in the first 10 minutes that she was raped as a teenager and that the case was dropped. They now know she will answer anything. Filenko does not go near the afternoon yet. He asks her to start with getting out of bed.
Let's, why don't we go back to, was it Wednesday,
Yeah.
when this all happened? In general, what I like to, now you've had a couple of days to relax and, kind of think. Things maybe are a little clearer on what happened that day. We find out sometimes that after a day or two of people just getting themselves together, that's a pretty traumatic experience. They tend to start remembering a little more fact, a little more detail of what occurred. And the way I usually like to do this is I like to start out from the beginning of that day. Let's see, you got up
Yeah.
and you got yourself ready for work.
Ready for work.
About what time was that?
I left at like 6:50.
So this was Wednesday morning, about
Yeah.
6:50, and you drive yourself into work.
Yes.
Okay. all right. Go ahead, just go through
And,
your
well,
day.
I didn't get there till like 8:20.
Mhm.
That's when I clocked in. And
who was there when you got there?
Wendy, she's the head teacher,
Okay.
and a few other staff along with my sister Crystal.
Who were the other staff?
I believe it was, her name was, the other one, I think it was Wendy with a W,
Okay.
and then Kristen. These were other staff that were with that, because our kids before in the morning, we'd keep them all in one room. They were in the baby room, and then when we had like 13, we split them in half and then bring my kids with Wendy into our room.
Okay.
So, and when I got there, that's when we split them in half.
Is that like a required number? You
Yeah.
can only have so many kids in a room?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the maximum amount of kids?
For right now, for the toddlers, the infants, it would be, infant toddlers, it would be like a ratio of 4 for one teacher.
Okay, 4, but you could have 8 to 12 if you have, let's say, 3 teachers in one room?
Yeah, up
Okay.
to 12, you can have 3 teachers.
Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead. So you got there, these were the people there, you got
Yeah.
there about 8:20.
And then I helped get my kids into the room with Wendy,
Mhm.
and everything was perfect.
How many kids?
There was 8 in my
8
room.
kids, all right, and 8 children, including, what's the child's name?
Ben.
Ben? All right, go ahead.
And when she
What
brought them
time,
in,
I'm sorry, what time did you guys, do you think you got in there with the kids, with your group?
about like 8:30.
8:30?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
And she was finishing up, and then I started writing down what they had for breakfast.
Wendy was finishing up?
Yeah, she was finishing up, trying to get the rest of the kids and get everything together, bring in diapers and everything that we had in the other classrooms, that kids that weren't changed,
Okay.
that we would change them in our room.
So Wendy would leave, come back with diaper, or came back with diapers? so
Yeah,
she
and
was
I
gone.
had help with my sister also. We
So
had
you-
help with other teachers bringing the kids in.
Okay, but you were with the kids the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would write on their clipboard, because they have a daily sheet that for what they had for lunch, breakfast, and snack, and all that. And I was just writing that down, and what they had for breakfast, and then the
So when you get in there, at 8:30, do they have breakfast immediately?
they have breakfast before I even get there.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then you record what they had for
Yeah,
breakfast?
we
Your
write it
group.
on a piece of
Gotcha,
paper.
okay. Is that another requirement?
For what?
Or do you guys just kind of keep tabs?
This is the least interesting footage in the video and the most important. He already has the staff roster. He is getting her to fix a timeline in her own words on tape before she knows which 15 minutes of it he cares about.
Or-
We keep, yeah, instead of taking off their daily sheets, it's so much easier just to write it on a sheet of paper of what they ate and what time they were changed instead of writing down all on the
Okay.
sheets.
Okay.
So, and I did that, and then when we write down their times too, and then after I was done with that, I finished doing the diapers for whichever kid got in late, child. I would do the diapers, write that down, and then wash, do the routine. We had to wash their hands right after diaper.
And you do this all in the same room?
Hmm.
Okay.
And there would be another teacher, Wendy was there when I was changing.
Mhm.
So we would, one would change, and then we would keep an eye on the kids, of course. So after that, we were playing with the kids
What time is that now?
around like 8:40.
Okay. Any of the kids,
We didn't notice anything at all. Everyone was happy playing.
okay.
There was no sign of change.
Nobody was crying, nobody, I'm just not talking
Yeah.
Ben, but anybody?
Nobody.
No issues, okay. Nobody getting out of hand or,
Mm-mm.
okay. And is this usually the same group of kids?
Yeah.
All the time?
Mhm.
So you always have the same
Yeah.
4 to 8?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And everything was going fine. And then once around like 9 o'clock, 9:15, we start doing early breaks for the
Mhm.
ones that came in early. Because Wendy, she comes in the mornings at like 6:30, 6:45 to open.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on break at like 9:15. And then I have there's another teacher that comes in there with me that helps me out and everything while she's on break. So another certified teacher would come in.
So did Wendy take her break that morning?
Yeah.
Does she do it at the same time every time?
Yeah.
What time was that? Okay. And who came in at 9 o'clock?
It was either a teacher, her name was Nancy. She's here Monday through Wednesday.
So Nancy was there Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nancy came in for the break?
Yeah.
And how long was Nancy in there?
An hour.
Okay. And she would, well, it's a long break.
Yeah. We take an hour breaks because she leaves, we work an actual 10-hour shift.
And you were there the whole time with Nancy too? Okay. All right. So then you get the hour break, and so now we're at 9 o'clock. Or I'm sorry, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Wendy comes back.
Okay.
And then Nancy, she goes into another room to break in the infant room.
Gotcha.
And it was like back and forth.
Okay. So now, all right, 10 o'clock. What happens after 10 o'clock?
What me and Wendy try doing now, we try doing like group time, read the kids some books and discuss and go along with our lesson plan.
Okay. Do you have a written lesson plan? Do you submit that to, is it something that you just hold on to, or is it something you submit?
We just put it on our board.
Oh, okay, I see. So you just write it like up on a dry erase board?
No, we write them out in a sheet of paper. They give us like papers.
Okay.
We have to do 2 separate ones because we still have 2 infants.
Listen to how she describes Ben when nothing is at stake yet.
Sure. Okay. So, nothing happened while Wendy was gone. Now 10 o'clock, she comes back, you guys do your lesson plans, and then what?
We play with kids.
Okay.
We do check the charts for diapers and see who needs diapers
Okay.
because we change diapers every 2 hours.
Okay. Do you recall anything at that point, Ben acting unusual or anything like that?
He was happy. He was
When you say happy, how old is he? 16?
15 months.
Okay, when you say he's happy, what do you mean?
He was just had a big smile on his face. He would play a lot. He would play with his sister, and he would just like crawl. And he was just getting used to like walking, so he wasn't walking that well yet.
Okay. But he could walk. What would he just like walk and then go down on all fours, or have to hold on to something?
Usually, what we've been trying to do, because he has a twin sister in there too, we like usually they'd be like uppies, like wanting us to pick him up.
Okay. Yeah.
What we've been doing, we've just been like, come on, and then we help them up, or they pull on our pant leg, and then we hold on to their hands, and
Okay.
we walk around the room with them.
So does he communicate?
Yeah.
So he can say words?
Yeah.
Okay.
He would say ball a lot and started to say not nice.
Okay.
So.
Oh, good. All right. So go ahead. Now you've got the playtime. And you and Wendy are still in.
Now the chairs, small wooden ones, a buckle between the legs, no tray, pushed in under a U-shaped table. Mark them in 4 hours' time. Those chairs are the whole case.
Yeah, and we were playing with them until about like 11, because 11:15 we feed them lunch.
Okay. And do they all eat in the same room?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they all eat the same thing.
Okay. And who feed? I mean,
We
I haven't been a dad with a young kid like that for a long time, so I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I'm picturing my son eating spaghetti, grabbing it, and
Yeah,
I mean,
we've been trying to actually, what we do, just recently we were trying to have them try and use spoons,
Okay.
but some of them aren't quite getting it, so we only have them use spoons during lunch.
Do they sit in high chairs or
They sit in regular chairs
Regular
and
chairs?
buckle them in.
Oh.
We actually had
the low
yeah,
chairs?
wooden
Okay.
ones. One
Okay.
would like buckle,
Mhm.
like right here, and then in between the legs you put it through, or just a regular buckle.
Sure.
Does it have a tray on it?
No, it's, the table is just like a U. It just has like a little area where you can push them in their own state.
Okay. So now they eat. No problems there.
No, they
Okay.
eat their food. really
And what time
well.
are they done eating?
I would say 11:30.
Okay. So 11:30 they're done eating, and then what?
We have them play a little bit more until about like 12,
Okay.
12:15. Is the latest we have them play. It depends on how fussy they get.
Okay.
Because we try and keep them up till 12:30 before nap.
Okay.
That makes them take a longer nap usually.
Mm-hmm.
But when we got their cots out,
Mhm.
they were all fine. Sometimes they get fussy, and they were a little bit fussy because they were tired, and they
What
go
time
to
is
the
this,
same-
about 12:15? you said?
12:15,
Okay.
they were getting
They all
fussy.
sleep, do they sleep in cribs or cots?
Cots. We only have 2 that sleep in the cribs because they're not 16 months yet.
And they all sleep in individual cots?
Yeah. They have their own cot covers and their own cot.
And these are, I'm trying to picture these are like fold-out cots or something, or?
No, they're just like mats or whatever, like
Okay.
things with a little bit of legs on them. And then what we do, we have the parents that buy the cot covers and we put the cot covers on them so that they have a pillow and the padding so it doesn't hurt their backs or their head.
Okay, so everybody got tucked in, let's say, at
Yeah.
12:15 or so?
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
How high are the cots on the floor?
Like that high.
Say a couple of inches?
Yeah.
1 or 2
They're not
inches?
that
Okay.
high.
Did you put the kids in the cot?
It depends because usually once their cots and their cot covers are out, they crawl. They know
They go
which
to
ones
their
are
own.
theirs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was you and Wendy putting them into the cots?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now they're all bedded down, 8 of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sean Curran has barely spoken. When he does, it is never about the day. It is about her. Do you smoke? Do the girls you work with smoke? Small, harmless, and it maps who leaves that room.
Okay.
And then another, Nancy came back in to break me on my lunch. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock. It was my usual break, but she came at 1 o'clock today, or that day.
So Nancy came in at 1 to relieve you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you went to lunch, and it was Nancy and...
And Gwendy, but I actually punched out, and then I went back into my room. And usually we're allowed to do that. Is sometimes because of the weather, we have a small lounge, so it's not big enough for everyone to eat. So there was 3 of us in the room, and I was kind of also a little bit helping them out.
How long were you out of the room?
Not even 5 minutes. I just went to punch out and then.
Did you
came
have
back.
like lunch that you brought or anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then sometimes what the directors want us to do, and my boss, is sometimes, with lunch, we would actually sometimes eat with the children because they get more comfortable with
Okay.
that, so.
So, 1
You
o'clock,
already ate your lunch when the kids ate?
No,
Oh,
but
on your break,
like
is it?
sometimes we usually do that, but then when we're on our break, most of us clock out, and then either they start up their car, they go out to like the store or something, and then after that they come back in, and we're very quiet when we come back in.
So when you actually do physically punch a clock?
Yeah,
Okay.
fingerprints.
Oh, it's a fingerprint scan?
Yeah.
Where's that located? Is that
It's
somewhere?
at the front desk.
Front. So you walked over to the front desk,
Yeah,
scanned your finger,
to punch out,
To
and
punch.
then I went back in my room.
okay, and that took 5 minutes?
Not even.
Not even?
Do you
Okay.
smoke?
Huh?
Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
I just wondered, like a lot of
Yeah,
people
no.
leave on a break to go.
They smoke, yeah, no.
Do girls you work with smoke? Do they?
I think some do, but none of the teachers. That
Oh,
work with
they go
them.
outside.
Yeah, or they either go to as they drive to go get food or something
Okay.
like that.
So you came back in, and the kid,
Mhm.
okay, and this is all around 1:30.
Yeah,
Did Nancy leave, or did she stay?
she was still in there.
She's still there?
Yeah, she was helping out, and I was on my break.
So it was you, Nancy, and
And
Wendy?
Wendy.
Okay. Then what?
We were just keeping an eye on the kids, pretty much, and as they were finishing stuff up, I was keeping an eye out on the kids and
Is who was finishing stuff up? Wendy and
Nancy.
what were they doing?
They were finishing cleaning up.
Cleaning up. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then the kids started waking up at some point, or?
They didn't wake up till like after 2:30.
Okay. What did you have to punch back in?
Yeah, after my hour
Okay, so you left the room again.
to punch in.
What time was that at?
It was like after like 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were gone a couple of minutes again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I came back in. And once I came back in, because Nancy didn't leave until I was actually officially in the room.
Okay, so you come back in and then Nancy leaves?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is 2 o'clock, and now the kids are awake or they're still asleep?
They're still sleeping.
Okay. And what are you guys, just watching them?
Yeah, we make sure they don't roll off their,
And then what time do they start waking up?
after 2:30. I don't.
So 2:30 the kids start, around 2:30 you start
Yeah.
waking up, and then what?
Once they start waking up, we write down the times of when they woke up, and then generally, like, it's usually usually one of the 2 that are still in cribs, they're usually the first ones. Pick them up, we take them out of the cribs or off the cots. And then-
Ben's not in the crib though, right?
No, he was on a cot.
Okay, and his twin sister?
She was on a cot.
Okay.
They were almost like right next to each other.
Okay,
So, but we would start changing their diapers as soon as they started waking up.
okay. And that's what happened Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
around 2:30? Okay.
And all the kids sleep.
Yeah.
None of them like stayed up or cried or, you don't remember anything like that?
Usually they sometimes wake up, but some of them have binkies. So, and then they drop it from their mouth, and what we'll do,
Just
we'll
give it
go
back
over
to 'em.
there and gently, like, help them find it, and then they go back to sleep.
Okay, all right. So now they're off. Now what?
We just turn on the lights if they're all up, and as long as the cats are all put away, we put everything away and put everything up, finish changing diapers, put up the blinds, turn the lights, and then we play some music, other music instead of nap music.
And when was that about?
2:40, like 3 o'clock, between 2:40 and 3.
Now watch the window close. Everything from here is the last 40 minutes of Ben's conscious life, and she narrates it herself, unprompted, including the detail that she was alone.
And
Nothing unusual to that point? Okay.
and then after that, they were playing again. We let them play because we only try and do group time in the morning. But we were playing with them. They were playing with the balls that we have and doing more bubbles with them. And around 3:15 is when we fed them snack.
Okay. All right.
And again, there was no problem. Everyone ate all their food.
Okay.
And then as soon as they were done, we took them out, washed them down, make sure they were cleaned
Is
up.
it still in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Made sure that they were all cleaned up, and then took off their beds and everything, did all the dishes.
Okay.
And Miss Nancy came in to relieve Gwendy.
What time was that?
It was like 3:20.
Pretty certain about that time.
Yeah.
How do you know?
I'm like, it's too much. It's too hard to to forget everything, because I was in there pretty much all afternoon. I didn't leave at all.
Okay. So Nancy relieves Wendy at 3:20.
Yeah.
And then what?
After that, she was finishing up with the dishes.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Wendy left the room.
yeah, Gwendy was off. She went home.
Oh, she left. Okay.
Yeah, she was off. And then after that, because she told me to do some art with kids, and I did that, and we were as the other kids that didn't want to do it and that already did it, they were playing. So when I was doing everything, and also Miss Nancy, she was keeping an eye on the kids too. I had my back turned against the wall, where I could see and have a good a view of everyone to make sure everything's okay, as I was doing art with the kids at the same time, and I was watching back and forth and helping the student out with her art, and then watching the kid. He was happy playing with his sister and a few other kids.
What show?
It's not like a bouncer, almost. It's like those. It had it was almost like a bouncer. I couldn't explain it because.
What was he doing? It was just sitting there.
It's his spot, actually.
So he just sits in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Does he get himself in the chair?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I took him out. I didn't leave him on the tile and everything when I was done. I tried helping him walk, but like after a certain point, when I let go, he wouldn't want to walk anymore. So he went to his knees on the carpet, and then he walked. He saw his blanket we have a rocking chair. It's like almost like a recliner, except without the footstool or whatever. So he saw his blanket over there, grabbed his blanket, and he was happy and had his binky. And
What time was this about?
it was 3:30.
3:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was just like bobbling his head, being silly, funny, and playing with his sister and a few other kids. And then when he went into his little spot, and his sister was, because his sister started saying his name, and they pick on each other. And I was watching them, and I was making sure he was doing absolutely great, nothing wrong, as again. And then, sometimes in the day, he will fall asleep, but we do keep him up because usually Mom doesn't want him sleeping up at 5, and we want to be having him more active and all the kids active, so that by the time we move them next door, they're not so cranky and everything and crying and whining because there's younger babies in the room.
Okay.
So at let's see, around about 4, Nancy's like, well, it's okay if I can run the dishes and everything because we were making sure everything was fine. Everything was fine. She ran to the dishes in the kitchen. And after that, right after that, my sister Crystal heard the door still open and she heard. So she walked in, and then that's when everything started happening.
She heard what?
When she heard me open, kind of outside the door and everything. And that's when everything went down at the same time. As soon as Nancy left, I was keeping my eye out. And I'm
So Nancy walked out of the room for how long?
a second, not even, it was half a second.
Okay, where did she go? She went
She went to the kitchen.
Okay.
The kitchen's right by
And you were in the room with the kids?
the kids.
Okay.
And then when everything happened,
When you say when everything happened, describe to me what happened.
well, I looked over and I was looking back and forth where I can see all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in his chair and he was starting to fall asleep.
Okay.
I'm like, Ben, and he responded, and because I saw him move and his eyes opened. His eyes were squinting,
Okay.
and when I would say Ben, and you just see his eyes opening a little bit.
Okay.
And then he was
She just gave them the sentence the whole interrogation gets built on. Nancy stepped out to the kitchen. Melissa was alone with 8 toddlers, and within a minute of that, Ben stopped waking up.
asleep, and I wanted to make sure. And then that's when he wasn't moving. And that he was just, it was just I was trying to make sure he was awake, and I didn't want to move anything just in case, if something did. And that's when Crystal,
What do you mean, just in case?
well, if anything, if he was sensitive, of some sort, because as soon as I went over there, when the door was gone, and then when Crystal heard me.
Okay. How did Crystal hear you?
Because she heard me saying Ben, Ben, and then I told her, I was like, can I get some help? And that's when Nancy walked out.
Where was Crystal, in the hallway?
She was by the front desk in the hallway.
And she could hear you all the way down the hall. How far is that?
Oh, not even. It was the classroom where I went to go get my stuff. It was she was right
Okay.
by the corner. And she
All right.
heard.
So she heard you go, Ben, Ben.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then I went to the phone, and then she came running in as soon as possible.
Did you ever talk to anybody on the phone?
Yeah.
Who?
I heard it was Beth, I believe.
Did you go on the intercom? Is that what you did? Or?
I dialed the
Oh, you
number.
dialed?
Yeah.
What'd you dial?
To the front desk. And I
Okay.
told them that,
Is that like a 1, 2, 3 digit extension?
it was 2 digits.
2 digit?
And then I
What's
like
the extension number?
10.
10, okay.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, and I was like, can I get some more help? You know, he's starting to, I see foam and just stuff coming through his nose.
And who are you saying that to?
To Beth.
Beth,
Yeah,
okay.
and Crystal Stucker, she picked up Ben immediately. We both reacted like within a
Her sister Crystal is a floater at the center. She moves between rooms. She hears Melissa through a door that was not quite shut.
second. And that's when Crystal was like, Beth, you know, can you come in here? I need your help. And I was trying to get the kids.
Who said that?
Crystal.
Was she still in the room with Ben?
Yeah, she had Ben
In the room?
in the room.
And you were in there too?
Yeah.
Okay, and then she says, she yells, or what does she do?
No, Beth was right there too, coming.
Okay, so Beth was in the hallway, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Did
then-
Crystal see Beth from where she was at? No.
Well, she was like right there around the corner. She stuck her head out because the door was a little bit open.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when, as soon as she said that, I came running in the room.
Okay.
I got all the kids away from there immediately. She had Ben put him on the changing table and then like immediately did CPR right before Beth could even get on the phone and did 911.
Okay.
And then when we were, she was doing CPR, Beth was on the phone exactly with the paramedics when she was on the phone. And we did everything, and at the time we did get a pulse. And he did have a heartbeat, he really did. And
You were there the
I
whole
was
time?
there the
Were you
whole
holding him, or?
no, I
helping?
was watching to make sure and making sure the kids weren't even near the kitchen area because he had vomit.
How do you know there was a pulse?
Sandy was checking for pulse because Sandy came in right after Beth did. So we were checking for pulses. They did up his arm here, and as soon as we saw that she was doing the CPR and the breathing and everything, I saw like the vomit, everything. You could just literally see he was starting to breathe a little bit, and he did have a heartbeat. And when he left, he held on, and I guess they couldn't keep the heartbeat when they got him to the hospital. So as soon as she was on the phone with them, and once we got the pulse and everything, the paramedics came within 30 seconds.
Okay.
And they used, I forgot the name of the container where they do the shock for little kids.
Defibrillator?
Defibrillator. They didn't even say no shock required because he had a pulse and a heartbeat.
How did you know there was a problem, like when you first called his name? I mean, you're
He
always,
was, we just tried waking him up, and
but you were by yourself, right?
for not even a sec, like 2 seconds.
But you looked at him and you called his name?
Yeah, the first time. I didn't even take my eyes off of
And what happened when you called his name?
The first time his eyes opened and I was responding.
And then what
And then
happened?
he, like a second later, he like closed his eyes and I'm just like, Ben, wake up, you know.
How far away were you from him at that time?
I would say from like here to like probably half of the door, like towards the corner.
Yeah. And then you said, Ben, wake up.
Yeah.
And what happened?
He didn't wake up and that's when.
Did you go over what you did?
I checked him and everything and tried to see if he would respond, and then Crystal heard me.
Were you screaming for him to wake up? Or?
No, I was kind of like raising my, not yelling, but trying to like maybe see if he would hear me.
Did you shake him to see if
A
he
little
was
bit,
sleeping?
yeah.
Okay. When did you see you said you saw some stuff coming out of his mouth or his nose?
No.
When did you see that?
When I got on the phone and Crystal picked him up. That's when I got on the phone and told Beth to come, and Crystal even said that.
How far away were you? How far is the phone from where he was at?
From where I was at?
He's still in his chair, right?
Yeah.
And the
then I was
phone,
over
where's
there.
the phone?
It was like close to like,
How far is that?
I don't even know. It wasn't that.
One more thing goes into the record here, and hold on to it, because years later, it becomes the center of everything. Ben had been sick. 2 days before he died, he was pale, coughing, wouldn't eat, and vomited on her twice.
He was sick. He didn't have a temperature
When was that?
Monday.
Monday?
And we noticed me and Wendy, as soon as we got him up from the nap, he was clean. He was white and pale, and he was coughing. He didn't touch any of the snacks. He had pretzels, cheese, and juice. He didn't touch it, and Sandy and Beth were in there too on Monday, and they noticed that he didn't touch it, so I gave him oyster crackers. But before that, he spit up a little bit like liquidy, like just liquid, clear. And took his temperature, it was normal. Waited a little while, and it was still normal. It was like a 99 point something. And he, when I transferred all the kids on Monday, I had him because, like, I held him, and I noticed, he wasn't feeling good. He was, after when Gwendy left, she even said that he don't look good. So I picked him up. He was resting on my shoulder and, like, just hanging on to me. And not even when I put the diapers and sheets on, he threw up all over me.
Did he come in Tuesday?
No. Because, yeah, when I left Monday, from what I heard, that he was, Mom came and got him, and not even out, like, by the time she couldn't even get out of the door, because he started turning up again. They had to put him over the sink, and that's what I did. He got sick, and we don't know what was wrong.
45 minutes in, they break. When they come back, Filenko does not ask about the whole day anymore, only one span of minutes, over and over, and listen to the word he uses on the way in. Nobody has told her a crime has been committed.
Coffee? Me neither.
Cappuccino.
Oh, please. I live on this.
I just tried not to say.
Okay, what I want to do is, and what we're talking about is, I just want to clarify some times, right around the time we started noticing a problem with Ben. Who was in the room, what time did this all start occurring. So if you can go over that with me one more time.
I was probably by myself for like at least like almost half a minute.
And that's when
Everything started happening. It was like around like
you were by
4.
yourself because Nancy,
She went to the kitchen
She-
real quick to drop the dishes.
to drop the dishes or to clean toys?
No, drop the dishes off.
Okay.
To get sanitized.
And what time was that about?
It was about like 4.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
everything happened. And when it was like 4, not even 4:05, not even close to that. That's when I went over and like said, Ben, stay awake. And like I was like, Ben, he didn't respond to me the other time that I went to him. So that's when Crystal heard me outside from the door, and the door wasn't even shut that much all the way. And then she came in.
What's Crystal's assignment? I mean, what does she do at that time?
She was, I think she was relieving teachers actually,
Okay.
because she does all sorts of stuff there.
Mhm.
She's like all over. She's a floater. And then she's like, Ben, and that's when I got told that we need some more help. And then Crystal made it sound like a little, because I didn't want to say it over to a point where if freak out. I was in a calm stage and everything, telling her I need help, of course. And then Crystal had Ben, and then she stuck her head. She's like, Beth, I really need your help. Come quick. And then that's when we started CPR.
So Crystal said to Beth.
Yeah. Because Beth was right around the corner and someone was coming, but then when Crystal said, I need your help, come quickly, and then that's when everyone started Like, she came in, she got on the phone right away.
Didn't you call Beth?
Yeah. She was coming, but then we couldn't wait, so Crystal had been, and they heard me. She was coming. No, she was coming, and then Crystal said it again too. So like, before everything, because like I was just getting the kids out of the way and everything.
So this is all kind of happening around 4:05. How many minutes before Beth gets in there?
Oh,
CPR?
like not even like a minute.
Okay.
Because when Beth came in right away, we were moving the kids, and then Beth got on the phone right away and called 911. And then at the same time, when Beth was on the phone, Crystal was already doing CPR. She was like doing what we were supposed to because we're all like licensed and certified.
To do CPR?
Yeah.
Who went to the kitchen?
Curran takes over, and now, 50 minutes into the interview, they tell her what this is.
Nancy.
Did she come in the room right away?
No.
How far is the kitchen from the room?
It's like a minute, like not even a minute away.
Did you call Crystal specifically, or?
No, Crystal heard me, and then.
She heard you just saying Ben.
Yeah,
Real
and then I need her,
calmly?
and like that's when she came in, and then she's like.
Because you said Ben, and you were real calm. I mean, why would she come in if you were just trying?
I wasn't saying calmly. When I said it, she heard me screaming, and then like I got on the phone.
So you started screaming?
A little bit.
What were you screaming exactly?
I was saying his name.
Okay.
'Cause it just.
Do you know what happened to him?
First, I've been up like pretty much.
So nobody's
all
told
night.
you anything?
I text people. We don't know. Like me and Crystal, and like it was just me and her and Sandy and Beth that were in there until paramedics came.
When he started getting, when this all started, there was only you in the room, right? And your sister heard you screaming his name? Okay. Well, part of what we do, Melissa, is we're with the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force, and we investigate homicides. That's pretty much all we do. So every homicide that occurs in the county of Lake County, they call us, and we take this over, okay? We investigate the incident, and our success rate is pretty high because this is all we do, and this is what we're trained for. And we have a medical staff on our team, professional people that are certified to deal with children, adults, medical examiners, FBI, evidence technicians. We have a huge team, okay? The reason that we were called in this incident is because Ben's skull was fractured, okay? We're sure that somebody did this to him, or it's a medical certainty that somebody's done this to him. What we need to know right now is if this was done by accident or did somebody intentionally hurt him.
Yeah, I would never put my hands on it, ever. I've never put my hand on the child, ever. And I've never taken my eyes off of those kids.
That is her answer to a fractured skull, not how did that happen. A flat, 3-part denial about her own hands. It is the last thing she says here that she never takes back.
Because there's one thing to hurt someone intentionally, to grab them and throw them up against the wall or swing them into the wall where they would hit their head. But it's another thing if someone dropped them or if they just try to discipline them and got out of control. But we need to get to the bottom of this because this could be a real serious thing. And if something ever was to be an accident, it's hard to say later after someone lied about a situation, because at the end of this investigation, we're going to get to the bottom of this, because this is all we're going to do. We have 40 people on our team. So we need to know the truth right from the get-go. Right now, every single person that works at your place is talking to 2 detectives. So we need to figure out possibly how this skull got fractured.
I wish I could tell you. I've never seen anybody put any hands on any of those children ever. I've been there.
When we were speaking with the medical examiner in this situation, this wound that he had on his head is something medical certainty that would have happened right away when he started going into unconsciousness.
Something that couldn't have happened before he got to school that morning. It's something that happened while he was there. Sean's trying to tell you that, and you know what, medical evidence, it just doesn't lie. Okay? That we're certain, based on, and when he says a medical examiner, it means a coroner. They did an autopsy on Ben.
Yeah.
And there's definite medical scientific evidence, substantial. I mean, it's just not something like a tiny bruise. We're talking a skull fracture, and in a child, a skull fracture is far different than even an adult, because a child's skull, depending on the age, and he's 16 months old, is soft, not fully developed. So for a skull fracture to occur, it would have to be a substantial blow, and not just a tap. Now, that's not saying that that couldn't have been done accidentally, you know, with a fall or some. Those situations do happen because there could be pre-existing conditions, other medical issues that we don't know about. But one thing we are certain about is that while he was in the care of the facility, this is when this happened. Okay. I also, you know, and the reason we talk to you a lot and ask you all these questions about you as an individual, and sit here and spend a great deal of time with you, is that we deal with pretty evil people. You know, we deal with murderers. That's what we do for a living. So we can recognize evil people, we can recognize good people, okay? Somebody who's in the child care industry, very rarely are they going to be in there for malicious or evil purposes. They're there to do what? Take care of children and do good, be what's called a caretaker, right? Definitely based, and that's why I was asking you kind of about your work history. This is something that's part of your career. You obviously are not an evil person. I can tell that. I mean, I can tell that the minute, you know, in our job, we have to, for our own safety, and just because it's the nature of our job, we have to do what's called immediate assessments of individuals, because we only have a second to react sometimes, right? When we look at somebody like you, and that's what Sean and I have been having a couple of discussions, here's a person that, under bad circumstances, bad timing, wrong place, wrong time, maybe indirectly have knowledge of something, but is compelled not to because they're scared. And I know, this is big.
Valenko then does the thing the rest of this video runs on. He separates her from the crime before she has been accused of it. You are not an evil person, I can tell that the minute you walk in. And then he puts Ben's family in the room.
I mean, he really is. This is a 16-month-old baby. I mean, this is somebody's child. This is somebody who won't have a future. These are parents that will never see this child grow again. And in this situation, these are parents that are going to watch a twin sibling grow. And that alone is going to be painful because they're actually going to watch the twin of the child who's now dead grow up not knowing what that child's future would hold or anything. You know, so not that we take anything less seriously, but you know, a child's death or any injury to a child goes right to the top of the list, okay? Our job here isn't to condemn. Our job here isn't to judge. Our job here is just to find out the facts, put the situation to rest, give the parents some closure, and just put this off to the side. There are situations where evil people do evil things. You know that. Serial killers out there. You were a victim of a sexual assault. So you understand personally, on a personal level, what intent and evil is. There are other people that, under bad circumstances, get in situations where they don't have any choice because of the circumstances. You pull out of your parking lot to go home, suddenly somebody blows a red light, you hit them, somebody in the car dies. Does that make you an evil person? No. You're a person of circumstance. A situation like this, we know, and this is why we're talking to everybody, that there's more to this than just suddenly somebody being lethargic and sleeping, we know that. Okay? We're giving everybody who has knowledge of this an opportunity to tell us. Obviously, this is highly important because they don't call us in just on minor cases, it's major cases. Okay? We're very good at what we do. Very good. You know, and I'm not going to give you our resumes, but some of the most infamous murder cases in this county have been solved by us. Homicide is a fairly general term. What that means is that the death of the child was not caused by natural reasons. It was caused by something unnatural. So don't let that term eat away at you. All that means is that he didn't die of a heart attack or a pre-existing medical condition, that there were some unusual circumstances. And in this case, there is an unusual circumstance. I'm going to tell you that Sean and I both firmly believe, again, that just looking at you, and again, it's our job to read people. We do it for a living. That there's definitely things that you want to tell us that for whatever reason, in a lot of these cases we find out it's a little bit of guilt, a lot of anxiety, because you don't know what the right thing is. You got to think back to before you maybe were even an adult, and the right thing was always to tell the truth. And the more you don't tell the truth, the further into that story starts getting more and more and more out of control until it's at a point where we can't control it anymore. All right? And then there's discrepancies in what you say, what they say, what you said, what actually happened. So the more this goes on, and the more we don't, the longer period of time that we don't uncover the truth, the worse it is for everybody, including you.
I would like to know.
Well, we want to know exactly what happened here. And we need to know from you what you know about this beyond what you've told us. And I can tell you, and please, don't make a mistake and not tell us the truth. Because we're very close scientifically of putting pieces together. We need you to finalize that piece for us and tell us exactly what happened. And you're a good person. Reach down inside yourself and help this.
Curran's turn, and he brings a vocabulary lesson, intent. The hour that follows is one long offer. There is a version of this where you did it, and you are not a criminal. All you have to do is agree that something happened.
We need to bring some closure to this and figure out what happened here. What happened?
I don't even know. We were doing CPR and.
Well, listen, the whole thing is when you talk about a certain crime or anything, it's a big word that comes up in court is intent. If someone intended on, if I go up and shoot George in the head, I intentionally probably try to kill him, because it would be pretty obvious that that would lead to his death. So in that case, I would be in trouble with the court. So most of the laws, if something happens on intent, then there's everyday accidents. People get in accidents every day, like in cars, and there's a car accident, and the result is somebody dies, but the person who gets into an accident with them doesn't get in trouble. You've heard that before, right? So that's what the law is about. The law is all about if someone intentionally tried to do something to somebody.
On purpose, maliciously.
We think in this situation, I know somebody caused the action for Ben's skull to get fractured. What we need to know is we don't think somebody intended on hurting him. We don't think someone intended on killing him. We think that something happened. We know that something happened that caused this.
Measure that against what they actually have. A pathologist's opinion has just become scientifically ruled out by the coroner. An opinion about timing has become a medical fact.
Something that perhaps got a little out of control or a misstep somehow. It wasn't like somebody woke up Wednesday morning and said, I'm going to drive the Mini Subi and I'm going to kill Ben.
Yeah.
We don't believe that's what happened. And I don't believe you believe that.
No.
But we also believe that you know a lot more than you're telling us. And please, for your own sake.
I swear, there was no problem. me and Gwendy, we never, like, the mom even said, though, he does throw his fits, and he has a tantrum fits, and sometimes he'll throw himself on the ground
Well,
and have a fit.
we know from this injury, we know for a fact that this injury could not have happened from him just merely falling from a standing position. That could not happen. It's already scientifically ruled out by the coroner. You watch CSI and stuff, we can tell how many pounds per square inch caused an injury. We can tell everything. So we know, we're certain that this did not happen from him just casually falling or throwing himself on the ground. We also know, when I say medical examiner, they're called pathologists, but a lot of people know what medical examiner means. The medical examiner informed us that the onset of this injury that caused him to pass away happened relatively quick when he went to an unconscious state, because that's what caused him all of a sudden to go to sleep, like you said. We need to know what happened to put him in that position. We know that he just didn't fall on the ground because of where the injury is on him. It couldn't happen, and because of the force, he can't generate enough force to do that. And I want you to understand, Melissa, is accidents happen every single day. We will never be finished with this case, ever, till we get to the bottom of this. It's never going to go away. We need to get it out there. Don't be scared to tell us the truth, because the truth is what helps people. But when people hide something, it makes them look guilty of something. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
You got to come clean, because I have a good idea that you've seen what happened, or you were involved with what happened, because you were the only one in the room at the...
She hands them the tantrums, true and already on tape, from an hour ago before she knew there was an injury, but it is now an explanation. And the moment she offers an explanation, she is no longer denying, she is negotiating.
Well, before everything happened, he crawled and went into his chair, and I didn't touch any of the, when he was at the time too, like when he fell asleep, when he was being unresponsive, I only took his arm and I went like this a little bit. I didn't touch his head, nothing.
Yeah.
And
Prior to that, though, when he went unresponsive,
he was laying back on the chair, and that was like when he was unresponsive. Nobody touched him at all. Like the kids, like before he was unresponsive and everything, and after the kids left, like his sister and a little boy was with them, and they were giggling, laughing, and I was watching them.
A lot of the stuff that you say, like stuff like that lets us know, because what ended up happening when you have a fractured skull, you end up dying from basically your brain shuts down your body because your brain swells up. Something along them lines. I'm not a doctor, but just to explain it in layman's terms, we know for a fact, and it's a medical fact, that he would not have been able to eat his lunch. He wouldn't have been able to take his nap. He wouldn't be able to be giggling. So all this stuff had to happen right away when he went unconscious. So that's why we know it happened in that room at that time.
I don't even know though.
A lot of people, they talk when something like this happens, they talk to the police and they try to put up walls to distance themselves. But in the reality, it's hurting them, because it would make somebody look more guilty that they intended on hurting this person.
I had nothing to do with him.
I don't think that you intended on hurting him.
I never put my hands on that ever.
No. But we need to know what happened to prevent it.
Watch what she reaches for next, not defense, another person.
But I have a son, and I swear to God, so many times I accidentally hit his head on stuff. Every time I walk through a frickin' door, I swear to God, I hit his head. He falls down all the time. My baby's 8 months old, so I know he hits his head back, hits a chair. There's always accidents. It doesn't make me a bad person at all. And if someone was supervising him or accidentally hit his head with something, it's not going to make you a bad person, but we need to get to the bottom of this. It happens all...
I'm like trying to, but like the only person that was with me at the time before all this was me.
If something happened, please let us know. Did you hit his head by accident with something?
No, nothing.
There's no,
Did somebody else hit his head with something?
You would probably maybe talk to Nancy sometimes because sometimes when she would pick him up, sometimes and then put him on a chair or something, his head would hit the back of the chair. So that's the only thing.
this is something though that would have happened because of what the medical examiner told us. Is this something that on the onset of this injury, that's when he would have lost consciousness, which is when you were in the room. So it couldn't have been something that happened hours before, because this kind of injury to his head, he wouldn't have been able to function, and that's why he went into unconsciousness. And from what you're telling us, you were in the room
He
for
crawled,
at least 10 minutes before this happened.
And he was crawling and everything. He didn't run into anything. I swear. I was watching him
And here is the move that changes the room. Curran tells her that her sister has already spoken to detectives and come clean. Crystal was not in the room. There was nothing for Crystal to come clean about.
Right away, you said you were with them for over 10 minutes before this happened. You would have been pretty much going into unconsciousness within 10 minutes of this happening. I don't know if someone walked in and you're covering for someone that you're not telling us.
I don't know. It was me and Nancy. You would probably have to talk to Nancy, I swear.
But you know when, was your sister in there before you were calling for help at all, Crystal? She wasn't?
When I called, when she came in, and then she put Ben on the changing table.
Was she in there prior to that incident when you called for help, when you said Ben, when you were screaming? Was your sister in the room?
No, she wasn't in. Not yet.
Would your sister hurt any of the kids there?
No, she has a son of her own.
Right. Okay. Would you cover up for your sister if she did hurt somebody?
No.
Okay. Even if it was an accident?
If it was Nancy.
You would probably want to tell the truth so she wouldn't get in trouble, right? And if you think like a logical person, which I know you do because you're very intelligent, we've been speaking to you. If someone like me, for instance, is watching a kid trying to take care of a kid, and I accidentally don't intend on the kid to die or get hurt, but something happens to the kid, it would be a logical person would probably think that maybe that person shouldn't get into that much trouble because they didn't intend on that to happen. Is that a fair assumption? Yes. So I don't want you to put up walls around yourself and try to, because you're scared, not tell us the truth, because in the long run it'll only hurt you, because it'll make it look like you're involved. But if it was an accident, she would have came out and told us right away, because we know, because she's an intelligent person. She would have said, you know what, this is what happened, but she didn't say nothing right away, right at the beginning when this happened, because you got scared. But when we went and talked to her, she came clean. She told us the truth. She told us she got scared at the time. She didn't know what to do. She's never been in a situation like this. And she told the detectives what happened. That's all.
20 minutes of that, and she gives them Nancy, then takes it back in the same breath.
What happened?
Sometimes.
Not sometimes.
I know.
What happened yesterday or Wednesday? What happened Wednesday? What happened? You know something happened. You know something bad happened. You know something real bad, and you probably stood there going, I wonder if that's as bad as it looks.
With Nancy, sometimes, when she handles, when Ben usually cries, I'm saying this, she probably did it,
Not
pick him up.
probably. We need exactly.
My back was turned, so she...
What did you hear?
I didn't hear anything. It was just...
So why are you
with
recalling
Nancy,
a moment when your back was turned?
When, if Ben was crying, because I don't remember much, I'm still in shock.
Right.
Listen, I know you are, okay? Even worse than not telling the truth is half-truths, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's half-truths. You've got over this. Look, you're an adult, and you're a smart person. You're not stupid. You don't have memory loss. You're not in medical shock, okay? What you are is in denial, and you're thinking, I don't want to be here. I don't want to accept that this is happening. I don't want to accept that he's dead. I don't want to be anywhere. If you had a choice right now, you'd be as far away from us as possible in this whole situation. If you had a choice, you wouldn't have come into work Wednesday. You wouldn't have been there. But you know what? You were there. You were a victim of circumstance, right? So don't be an offender. You know what an offender is? That's a bad guy. Be a witness. Be a witness. And you know clearly and sharply in your mind, and no one is blaming you for not taking some action, okay? No one is blaming you for that. But we need to find out exactly what happened, and we completely believe that you know what happened. And if it is Nancy, okay, in great detail, not my back was half turned, not I didn't see it and hear it and smell, but in great detail, you need to tell us this, and we need to put this to rest. We need to all go home tonight and have this entire situation put to rest.
I'm behind us.
Okay, we need to finish this today. We don't need you walking around a week from now, 2 weeks from now, looking at doubt, no closure. We don't need that. You don't need that. You can't possibly, and I'm a lot older than you, you cannot carry that burden of guilt. You can't do that. So you've got to tell us what you saw in great detail. Now, possibly, not probably, because you know 100% we know what happened, but we need you to tell us. Tell us what happened.
Before everything happened, I was giving them a snack. I just used, I cleaned them off and everything when they were all done. After I cleaned up Ben's hands and everything, I put him down, and he crawled. He was fine before all that, and I believe I changed his diapers. When I changed his diapers, like, he didn't hit his head or anything, and like, it's just questionable to me now if when Nancy held him, maybe if he threw a fit and hit like ran into something to a point where he
Count the qualifiers. Probably, not probably. My back was turned. She is not describing something she saw. She is testing a shape against what they have told her.
like I keep saying over and over, I made sure like he was safe.
I'm not doubting that.
I know.
I'm not doubting that. What I'm doubting is that you didn't see Nancy do something to him.
No, but every time she comes in, he cries. He doesn't really like her.
Did you see her do anything?
As far as I know.
Not as far as you know.
Don't protect
I know
Nancy.
I'm not protecting
It's bad.
Nancy, but
Did you ever see her do anything before? Ever?
like
To a
pick
kid?
him up, no.
Smack a kid?
No, never.
Throw him
She
into a
just-
wall?
No.
Throw him in the crib?
No,
And you didn't see her do anything to this kid?
I swear. I'm just maybe wondering if when she would hold him, that, you know, she'd run into something, or when she would put him down, she didn't put him down nicely or gently to a point where he would
It's
get
not gonna,
hurt.
this injury
I don't
isn't
know.
caused.
Then she explains why she walked in here already frightened. The day before, a child protection worker handed her a piece of paper with her name on it.
Like that. It's something either
Clueless.
you done or Nancy did, because it was something that just happened then, and it's something that couldn't be done without someone else noticing, because it had to be done with a considerable amount of force.
I'm seriously bringing back and thinking back then
Right.
of Wednesday. I know for a fact that I did not do anything. I did not see anything with my own eyes for him to even have a fractured skull like that. Because when I first found out that I had maybe something to do with it,
When did you find that out?
yesterday from the DCFS, I had a note that me and then that the other person
When did you talk to DCFS?
yesterday.
They called you
No, they came and interviewed me
at your office?
in the lounge. Yeah.
Okay.
And at the time, I told him, I was just like, and I read it, I was like, and I told my boss, I pulled her into the office and I told her, I'm like, you know, how come my sister didn't get this or whatever, because she did CPR. And at the same time CPR was going on, I pushed all the kids out. Maybe I told her, I'm like, I'm clueless. Why did I get this? Why am I? Seems like I did something wrong.
What did it say?
that someone called DCFS on me, like saying that it could have been my fault for a fractured. Like he didn't specify what happened.
Let me tell you right away, that's just something they have to do because it's a child care facility.
I understand that.
Number two, if you lied to them, for whatever reason, just say you did, it doesn't matter one iota. Now's the time to come clean.
Yeah,
We're the law.
Yeah, we don't share.
We don't give a shit what you told them.
I understand.
It's never going to make you look bad. You
I
might have been
know.
a little confused and shaken up yesterday. So whatever you told them, I don't want it to in any way affect what you're going to tell us. Don't try to be consistent
No,
with what you told them.
I am. I'm swearing to you. I am not lying. I am swearing on my aunt's grave and my uncle's that I did not do anything to fracture his skull, and I did not see anything.
Did you go out with anyone from work after work since this incident happened?
No, I went
including your
straight
sister?
home. I went straight home.
Did you talk to Nancy after this on the phone?
No, I gave her my
outside of work?
number. I gave her my number.
Did she call you?
No, she didn't. I told her to give me a call if she needs to. She never called me.
Swearing on her aunt's grave. That is the high water mark of her denial. Everything after this is downhill.
I never, ever would cover up for anybody, not even for a death.
If you did something that was an accident, though,
I would say something.
you're smart enough to know that you didn't mean to do it, right? If you lost your temper and maybe cracked someone, would you tell us?
Yeah.
You would? Have you ever thrown a kid against a wall?
No.
Have you ever hit a kid's head against anything? Never?
Never.
Did you ever hit Ben?
No. I've known them since they were really little. And when I first started subbing, in January, I went over there to sub. That's where I first saw them, the twins. They were still babies.
What are the other workers going to say about you, how you handle the kids?
They'll say that I handle them very well. I don't.
Do you get aggravated easy, or do you?
Not really. I've never seen anything like that ever. And I would definitely come clean and say if I did see anything, I would say something. I would. I don't hide anything. I don't cover up for anybody.
Were you out with your sister Wednesday or Thursday night?
No.
You didn't see her after work?
No. She went home.
So no long conversations on the phone? Nothing like that?
No. We would find, she would call, check up on me and see how I was doing because I was scared at the time when she was doing CPR and everything. I left to go put the other kids in another room when they were still doing CPR still, and that's when the paramedics came. But yeah, I'd never do anything to those kids, ever. Never put my...
Curran stops asking what happened and starts asking why Ben was awake at all. It looks like a small question. If she had let him sleep, he would not have been in her hands.
It's great when a baby goes to sleep because it's a lot easier to control them. So why wouldn't you guys just let him keep on sleeping in his chair? I mean,
because it was just getting towards the end of the day, and
can you sleep there to the end of the day? I mean, wouldn't he be
we had to transfer the kids. That was the reason.
Transfer them to what?
Like put them in a different classroom when we went down.
Was he in this classroom the whole day, Ben?
The classroom I was in?
Yeah.
I thought you made a comment earlier that the reason you tried keeping him awake was because the parents were concerned that he was...
Yeah, that too. If he did fall asleep though, we would let him, but he can't sleep up until 5. After 5, he had to be awake because the mom would pick him up.
But this was at like 3:45, right?
It was like 4 o'clock, yeah.
So why wouldn't you just let him sleep till 5?
Because we were getting ready to start doing diapers too, and then we had to bring over the kids because they told us as soon, as you lose another kid, they tapped on the window like, as soon as you lose another kid, blah 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 or whatever, you can start bringing them over. So we're like, okay, but we're gonna do diapers first. So we waited a little bit and we were playing because usually, he sometimes falls asleep, but he really doesn't. He'll like close his eyes and like open them and just sit there and relax. So that's why I've been keeping.
When you went up to him, was there anything coming out of his mouth? Or?
No.
So you just went up to him and said, Ben, Ben, and he didn't respond?
No.
And you said you shook his arm?
Yeah.
And how did you know that he wasn't just sleeping real sound?
Because he would have woken up.
Why? Were you shouting his name?
No, he would have heard me. Because at other times when he would fall asleep on the chair, he would wake up.
If you said his name?
Yeah. Or I'd be like, Ben, Ben, and his eyes will open. They really would. And then after that, give it like a few seconds, he'd probably try and fall asleep again. But that was why I did the call.
Then Falenko builds her a rehearsal. He plays Nancy accusing her and asks her to react. Listen to what comes out when she is asked to imagine being blamed.
There's no doubt in your mind that if she makes an accusation that she's not going to have anything to back that up with. No doubt in your mind that if when Nancy, or she's being questioned right now, says, look, I'm going to come up front with you guys. Melissa, she made a mistake. I saw it. I didn't know what to do. This is completely out of character for me. I should have said something, but it's her responsibility. She was in there the whole time with them. This is what she did. And where are we at?
I would have been like, I would tell you. I would straight up tell you that I did make a mistake. And I was too afraid to say something, I didn't know it would actually hurt him. And I would have came clean and even said to Miss Beth and Miss Sandy, here's what happened. And that this is what, his head hit the floor or wherever his head got hit. And I would have said, I am completely so sorry. I didn't mean to do this at all. That's what I would have said, and I would have came clean. I wouldn't hide nothing from no one. If I knew I was doing something wrong, or if I did something wrong, I would go up and I would talk to them. Because it would make me feel better.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that you did something wrong. I mean, there's sometimes accidents happen, and I mean, they're unavoidable.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been in car accidents. Sometimes stuff's just unavoidable. So if that's the case, it's not like you did something wrong, but we need to get to the bottom of this. And I'm sure you understand, because if you had a child, you'd want us to be doing the same thing.
I'd be questionable and trying to figure out what's going on.
She has just delivered a full apology for something she says she did not do. And then, unprompted, she raises the fact that will matter more than anything else in this case, that Ben already had a bump on his head, and his mother had mentioned it at the hospital.
Right, and you'd want to know if you said, you left your child in a daycare system and somebody ran into an accident, and that led to your son, maybe he had some kind of special skull, or maybe he had previous injuries, I don't know. He was sick a couple days prior, but maybe this little accident is what caused it. It would just give them some closure, and it would help us clear this case out.
Yeah, we're not saying we don't know if there was a pre-existing condition and something, Sean's point is something may have aggravated it. There are strange physical anomalies, things with people that sometimes you don't know. I mean, there's a thing out there where certain adults have skulls that are like eggshells.
Okay.
And they go around their whole life without ever having a head trauma or a head injury, and then one sudden, hit or fall or hit to the head, and suddenly they're dead. There could be a pre-existing condition with him. The reason we're asking you about any other injuries that you may have noticed is that this is something that may have started and then been amplified. Okay. It's sort of like aggravating an old injury. And that may also give off the appearance of intensity.
Yeah. And like you said that too with the injury, he has had bumps on his head, but that wasn't from us.
I know that.
Mom even said, I seen him, Billy seen him.
Was it ever documented?
No, because he would do them at home. Like, he would do it with Mom around.
Who else seen that?
Me, Wendy.
The mom would tell you he had
Yeah, she even told the doctors at the hospital that, you know, with these bumps on his head, it's
How
from
do you
him
know
hitting
that?
his head. I was told. And,
By who?
by the director. Beth and everybody, we were all talking, and Billy even asked me, they're like, have you noticed about the bump on the head? And I'm like, no, I haven't.
When was this?
This was at the hospital when they were all at the hospital with Beth.
Wednesday or?
Yeah, Wednesday. And they asked me, they're like, have you noticed about the big bump on his head? I'm like, no, I haven't. You know, I didn't recognize it. But I have noticed, though.
Did he have any bruises on his face?
No, none.
None that day?
None. Absolutely none.
You would have noticed?
I would notice if he did. He has really light skin on the tile.
You would have noticed if he threw one that day, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't, you said.
No.
Because the way we're figuring is like thinking maybe an accident, but it would be an accident that someone would know about. They would have to literally, and I don't even think they could do this, drop him, hit his head against something while they're walking through a door frame, or literally grab him and hit him up against a wall, or hit him on the top of the head with something.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything. I give you my word on that one. I haven't. I have not seen him hit anything. I have not seen anybody pick him up, literally, and hit him against the wall or anything. If I would have, I report it right away.
Did you ever report Nancy's behavior when you said she's rough with the kids and throws them into the crib?
No, she doesn't throw them into the crib. She places them on the cots. She wouldn't throw them.
But you said, you know, something.
Nobody follows that up. The room narrows again to one proposition. It happened while you were alone with him, so you know.
Melissa, just this whole time thing and this injury to his head was when you were alone with him. I mean, I don't know how you could convince us that he did it.
He was sitting, yeah. He was sitting. Like, there was nothing around him or anywhere possibly that he could have hit his head. I'm clueless. I don't know.
I mean, could he have dropped out from a changing table when you were changing his diaper and you're afraid to tell us?
No, I would
Don't be
never do
afraid to
that.
tell us.
I am not going to be afraid to tell you. If I drop somebody from the changing table, I would be stoked and crying, freaking out. But I would go and tell.
But sometimes, listen, sometimes people make a mistake and they don't want to tell somebody because this economy sucks. They don't want to lose their job and say, hey, listen, I just dropped a kid. So then they're going to put that in your record. You're going to get in trouble. You might be afraid, and you might be like, well, kids fall all the time. He might be okay. And then it kind of, this happens. We could understand that happening. Because you're afraid to tell someone at the time. You don't want to lose your job.
The only thing I kind of feel guilt a little bit about is that I wish I could have done a little bit more and help out more. Because of the fact my sister was doing everything. Because I literally felt guilty because I wasn't doing anything. I just made a call. And I was just yelling.
That's helpful. You know.
But that's
sometimes the most. That's sometimes the most important thing you could do is to summons more advanced medical personnel. That's the most important thing, number one. That's how we're trained too. The most important thing you could do is get on the phone so more people come that know more than we do. So you did do something to help them. But we don't want you to be afraid to tell us because, you know, you were afraid you're going to lose your job and you thought it would be okay because you see kids fall every day. You probably see a kid fall every day, literally.
Now they describe evidence that does not exist yet. Technicians sketching the floor, photographs of the injury, a team that will know exactly what caused it, and she does what people do when they are handed a gap. She fills it.
We don't want you to be afraid to tell us that because at the end of this investigation, like we're going to have so many people working on so many specials, we're going to know exactly probably what caused the injury. Okay. Right now, we got a team. They're probably closed down the nursery by now. I don't know if you're probably not aware of that. They're probably closed it down by now, but we got a team of evidence technicians.
Okay.
And they're sketching
Crime scene
the room.
investigators,
They're
CSIs.
sketching the room, the floors, and at the end of this, might be not today or tomorrow, they're going to know exactly what caused this injury to his head. I mean, because there's certain things that could cause a certain injury.
Yeah.
You know, we actually have very good photographs of his injury,
Okay.
and then, even though it's
Was
not
it in
always
the back of the head or in the front of the head?
That's what he asked.
I'm just kind of curious. Maybe I could rethink, and maybe see if it was from the back of the head. Maybe he, Crystal probably, when she was doing CPR, when she picked him up and put him on the change table, maybe he hit his head really good because it bounced up a little bit. Maybe that could have been the reason when she put him down. You know what I mean? So, like, for his head to kind of bounce a little bit, but, like, she didn't bounce him, like, hard when she put him down. She was doing the CPR. I made sure I had the kids stand back. And I got all the kids out of the way. Because like I was saying earlier, I had the kids in the kitchen. So, maybe, that's what could have happened when she was performing
Did
CPR.
you see his head bounce?
A little, yes, I did.
And she was only trying to help.
Yes, she was trying to help him.
What's the table made out of? What is
It actually had it was our changing table. It had a mat on it though.
Oh,
and then
mat.
underneath it though was hard.
But he would have hit his head on the mat, right?
Yeah, but it was the mat
That
was
wouldn't
kind of
have caused
hard.
this injury.
That's the only thing though. I'm thinking.
Is there any way that an accident might have happened and you were afraid to tell someone because you thought everything would be okay? You didn't
Yeah,
wanna-
no accidents whatsoever.
No.
I never.
So it's safe to say 45 minutes before he started losing consciousness, the only people in this room were you and Nancy.
Yes.
So if someone did this to him, it would be safe to say that the only people that could have done something to him would be either you or Nancy. Is that a good, if it happened within 45 minutes of this?
I agree, but I don't even know what I could have done to make him hit his head.
You would, like I said, this is a substantial injury. If he hit his head to cause this injury, you would know.
I would.
You would know. But not saying you meant it to happen, but you would know. Because I know you're very careful and everything, but I'm very careful with my son, and I'm paranoid because of all the shit that we go through and we deal with. But I mean, I've hit my son's head, to tell you the truth, on a door frame once, carrying him through. I mean, it happened. It was an accident. I didn't mean. I thought.
Oh, he's not.
2 hours in, listen to the word that has crept into her denials.
I am telling you the truth. I did not drop him. Nothing serious.
Did you hit him in the head?
Nope.
Did you do anything to contribute to any of these marks on his head?
No.
Nothing?
I swear, nothing.
Okay.
When you say nothing serious, what do you define as serious?
That I would never put my hands on him. I don't even recall putting or hitting him. Even if he was crying or whining so bad, I get a little frustrated, because he's screaming, but I would deal with it. I would be like, it's understandable, but I wouldn't pick him up any other type of way.
Melissa, you said you don't recall. I mean, it's a lot different than...
Yeah, I know. I don't pick up objects. I don't want to throw them.
But you just said you don't recall.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. It's hard for me to explain.
That means that there's a possibility that...
I did not, but I'm telling you right now, though, I did not pick up anything. I did not pick up anything. I would never, ever...
What do you mean, pick up anything?
I wouldn't pick up anything to hit a child. It's not my child.
I never said you did pick up anything
I know.
from a child.
I didn't, though. If that comes to the case, if people are saying that, I didn't.
Why would somebody say that?
You know what? I don't know. I don't pick up things. I make sure the kids are safe. I make sure they're taken care of, changed, healthy, as long as they're, they're well taken care of.
Melissa, did somebody pick something up and hit him in the head with it?
No. I did not see anything. The kids, they have like a plastic bat, little kid. He hits like things.
I don't recall. It arrived in her vocabulary about 40 minutes ago, and it will not leave. Valenko hears it and holds it up in front of her.
Did you lose your patience and hit him?
No.
Sure?
Yep. Positive.
Because if you did, it's understandable.
No, I know.
It's very freaking stressful dealing with one baby, I know.
Yeah.
I know I never knew it till I had my own because I never watched babies in my life. But it fucking makes you lose your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the best words. I'm not trying to not be professional. You can lose your mind sometimes because they'll go screaming. You're trying to get other stuff done, and that's only one. So I can understand if someone all of a sudden, they lose their mind for a second and they hit a kid. I totally understand why someone would do that.
Yeah. We've had incidents where people just flat out black out. And the next thing you know, I mean, because they get aggravated, they get frustrated. We had a lot of that with husbands and wives and domestic arguments, parents with their children.
Yeah.
And they'll just flat out sit there and say, I just blacked out. And then, when I finally realized what happened, I composed myself and then just went on from there.
No, never blacked out.
Did you ever hit a kid there?
No.
No?
Nope.
And now the crucial thing. Nobody in this room knows what happened to Ben. So they start proposing versions to her out loud, each one more specific than the last.
But if it gets out of control, when it gets out of control, yeah, I will say, no, not nice. And, I get a little, that little madness, but it's to a point where, I'm telling myself, calm down, they're kids, they're babies, they'll cry all the time, it happens. And
in this situation, too, a good thing that was pointed out is how we think like maybe the person who did this didn't intended for the kid to get hurt, or they didn't may strike him in the head or hit him in the head with anything. It could have been as easy as something saying no and like pointing at him and actually like hitting his chest and him falling back and hitting his head on the wall.
yeah.
That's something that we think could happen, and we know how kids move around and how easily someone doesn't realize how strong they are, and when they say no to a kid or something like that, they could fall back and hit a wall. Because something like that seems real plausible in this incident.
Okay.
I mean, did something like that happen? Did you do that? Did you push him into a wall? No?
Nope.
What do you think should happen to somebody who intentionally tries to hurt him?
No way that happened. But what we do firmly believe is that people are human. They get to a point where they're either not thinking clearly, and make a mistake. There's a lot of instances out there now where people, just because they're tired, are crashing cars because they're working so many hours in that. Is that intentional? No. But they had the same level of intoxication as somebody who was drunk. That's literally a statistic. If you're awake for like 17 hours straight, you're like a .50, which is right near the legal limit. Something that you can't control. All right. So if there's an error made, you can't control the error.
Valenko then spends 15 unbroken minutes on one argument. Your account is inconsistent, and the longer you hold it, the less anyone will believe you when you change it.
Okay, they're giving me the benefit of the doubt because the report I give them is accurate and factual, and it's consistent with what we're seeing. Okay. What you're telling us, based on timelines, based on whatever, is inconsistent. Okay, and that's why we're sitting here going, look, we understand that you're looking out for yourself. We understand also that maybe given 24 hours and rolling this back in time, that if we were there and we talked to you almost immediately, that people, when they're in an incident like this, traumatic like that, they really want to tell you immediately what happened. Police officers involved in shootings, as we investigate those, officer wants to tell you right away what happened. He wants to get that off of his chest and say, you know what, the guy pointed a gun at me. I want everyone to know that what I did and why I killed him was justifiable. But we don't interview them right away, so they have to sit and they have to wait, and that causes some issues. That causes them to manipulate story. And it's like it's a human reaction for you or anybody else to contrive a story or think things to put yourself in a better light. And it's very, and I'm not insulting you, please, don't take this as an insult. It's almost amateurish, and it creates the opposite effect. It makes you look like you're concealing something.
Like I'm hiding something?
Correct. That's it. It makes you look like you're, I'm being completely honest with you. We find out, because we do this all the time, that lying to a person on our end doesn't achieve anything. Because if we get caught in a lie, our credibility is crap. You're not going to believe a thing I say as soon as you catch me in a lie, right? You got to look at it from our perspective. That's the way we feel about you. It's all about credibility and all about honesty.
Okay.
It's like God forgives, we don't. Because once you've told a lie or continue to escalate that, it's worse and worse and worse and worse. And then at some point, when this all comes to fruition, and it will, it's either going to be through you, if it's through somebody else, and it will, by day's end, it will be, it would preferably be you who tells us exactly what happened and put yourself in a positive light. Don't let somebody else railroad.
2 hours and 14 minutes. He is telling a 22-year-old that she is not a sociopath, that she has a conscience, that she is a caregiver, and using every one of those things as a reason to admit she killed a child.
And by the time your sister, who, I'm telling you, in good faith, ran in there and tried to give CPR, bad people don't do that. They don't care. They walk away. They run away from that. They don't want anything to do with that. Right? Bad people don't have a conscience. You know what I mean? The word sociopath or psychopath, it's one and the same. Those are people who have no emotions. They operate physically and mentally every day like normal people. You couldn't tell them, but inside they're dead. They have no feelings at all. You could not get away with that working in that environment. That's not you. You've got emotions. I saw your emotions here. You got upset. You have a conscience, right? Clearly, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to the investigators. I'm sure Sean, and again, I don't know if he's been involved in internal investigations where they accuse you as a police officer of doing anything from stealing to inappropriate behavior with, a person, use of whatever. It's not a good feeling. It's completely contrary to what we are as people. This has got to not be a good feeling for you because it's got to be completely contrary to who you are and what you're all about. By even working in this place, it says a lot for your personal character that you're a caregiver. You're a caregiver. You're not a violent person. You're a caregiver. You take care of these children. Yeah, is it going to be a perfect world every day you go in? No, they're kids. They aggravate the hell out of their own parents. He'll tell you. I'll tell you. I've got teenagers. It doesn't get any easier. You could be a caregiver for teenagers, and believe me, you think you get aggravated now. Well, you're not too far removed from that to remember how you probably were with your parents. You thought you knew it all, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you, being the senior citizen in this room, you don't know it all, and you don't want to carry a heavy burden on you. Okay. You don't. You don't want the perception of people thinking that you're manipulative and you're a liar and you have no credibility.
And then the countdown. Now it's credible. In a few days, it isn't.
And I know you're not. I just think you're worried. I just think you're really deep down inside worried and you're scared. You are. You cannot be scared. You can't be. You're scared. I would be too. You were probably, if you weren't laying awake or rolling around or just thinking about this whole thing for the last couple of days, you're not human. If you went home and you went right to sleep and got up and felt like nothing has happened, you're not human. But I know that's not you. It's got to be bothering you. So when I ask you if you talk to other people on it, it's not because I'm trying to catch you in a lie or whatever. It's because I know you have to express it somehow. Some people have different ways of doing it. Some people internalize. If I get mad at somebody, I don't talk to them. They just know. They can feel it off of me. Other people, they externalize. They go off on you. They really tell you how it is. It all depends on how you handle it. But an incident like this, you're desensitizing yourself a little bit now because you're almost thinking in your mind, God, this really didn't happen. This is not happening. You know what? It's like waking up, and I don't know if you drink or whatever, but it's like waking up from a 4-day drunk at some point. It just hits you like a ton. Oh my God. You know, and then for you to come back to us in 3-4 days, whatever, it's just not going to work. Because at that point now, we're not going to believe anything that you say. That's why we're asking, that's why we went there this morning. That's why we got you this morning. We took everybody. We want to clear the air, and we want to know now, because now it's credible. In a few days, it's not going to be credible.
Okay.
2 hours and 19 minutes of denial. Watch it break, and watch what it breaks into. Not a confession. A detail she already told them. Moved to a new place in the day.
To be honest, I have yelled, like said not nice, but he was sitting up and he just like drops. And like I heard him hit his head.
Where?
On the carpet though. But
On the carpet or the tile?
On the carpet.
Was that Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of times he's done that when we say no, not nice. And he will get upset. Like he was sitting straight up and he would fall. Like he would like seriously like fall completely and hit his head.
And what, did he get upset after he hit his head?
Yeah.
He started crying?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what time he hit his head?
No, I don't.
Kind of approximate, maybe?
In the
Was it?
probably sometime in the afternoon before, ahead of time before they had snack maybe.
Okay.
Because he's like,
And what was it? I mean, I know you were saying that you guys have like reading, you have playtime. What event was that during?
there was nothing going on. It was just playtime.
Okay.
Because like when he got up from that, I saw him. He was awake. Picked him up. I was like on the recliner, the rocking chair.
Right.
Just hanging out with him, and like we were being silly or whatever. And I know later out throughout the day, he did something to a point probably where we would like say no, not nice, and he took it very, very hard.
Did you say would that be you and Nancy or just you?
Grundy was in it, so it was after nap.
So what was he sitting on the floor?
He was sitting on the floor.
And can you? I mean, how fast or hard did he fall back?
Like boom, like really fast. Like he would, like how he would throw himself, like.
He threw himself backwards.
He threw himself backwards, really hard.
And then he started screaming or crying?
Yes,
he did.
He did.
Okay.
Who was in the room?
Me and Wendy.
Okay. How did you guys calm him down? Or did he calm himself down, or what happened?
He calmed down, but then we put him in the little chair where he usually goes.
So you just picked him up and put him in that chair?
Yeah, we picked him up, and then we were like, you're okay, and he stopped crying once we picked him up, though, and then we put him in the chair.
And then what did he do in the chair?
He was fine. After that, he was just sitting there. He was playing or just moving around, whatever, had his eyes open, everything.
Can I ask you, why didn't you just tell us that to begin with?
I wasn't thinking straight because like I said, I am nervous. I've never been in a situation like this, so it's very hard.
Then Falenko asks the only question that matters, and her answer will be her answer for every version that follows.
We understand that, and that's fine. But we just want to know, make sure that there's nothing else that you decide not to tell us, and we have to drag out, because every time we have to pull stuff out or make you know that we're going to find out that you were there, or we're going to find out. I promise you.
I just don't want to lose my job.
Don't worry about your job.
Nothing she has said is a confession. Ben threw himself backwards, which she had already described that morning, before she knew there was an injury. But the story moved, and once a story moves, both men know it will move again.
Look, what did we tell you from the beginning? We're not looking to put blame on anyone. We're looking to find out what happened.
What happened.
Right. And by not telling us 100% the truth, then yeah, people are instinctively going to blame you. They're going to point the finger at you because of the time, the location. You know what I'm saying? You're there. It's not like there were 50 people in that room with you. Okay? And I know how important your job is, and I know how important your career is. I mean, you have laid out in your mind what your career is going to be, right? You're doing the right thing. You said it yourself that every time something had occurred that was in it, that you reported it, okay? Maybe this time you didn't because, oh my God, yeah, you're a responsible person, and you don't want people to point the finger of blame on you, saying you are irresponsible, okay? This time the injury was more serious than you could tell. You don't have X-ray vision, so you didn't do anything, okay? Like I told you about that story with the ER doctor. Didn't identify and didn't see right away, sent the child home. I mean, you're not even a doctor, okay? What Sean is saying is that we want to make sure that that's all that happened. Seriously, because if Gwendy tells us something contrary, because she saw this, right? Okay.
Yeah, when he threw himself down.
Okay. And
Threw
when
himself down from where?
And on the carpet.
Where was he?
he threw himself down,
In the center of the room.
was he
Standing?
No, he was sitting up like crisscross.
sitting on the floor on
Yeah,
the chair,
sitting on the floor.
and he flung himself
He
back?
flung himself back.
When his head hit, can you describe what kind of action it made? Show me with your hand.
Like you just hear like a loud clunk.
Did his head bounce off of the carpet?
I couldn't tell. myself.
Let me ask you this, and this is one of the most important questions
Okay.
you're going to answer. After everything happened and he was taken to the hospital, did you and Wendy ever talk about, do you think he hurt himself from when
No.
he hit his head? Never?
No. And other times though, he's done that, but not as hard. He has hit him. He's thrown himself.
He started
down.
crying right away?
Yeah,
And who picked him up?
I believe Gwendy did. It was me, Gwendy, and Nancy. That's what I remember.
Nancy was there too.
Yeah, it could have been Gwendy or Nancy. I'm still clueless, but he did do that.
Think about it. Who was with you?
Really important.
Okay. I was gonna say Gwendy
And did Gwendy pick him up?
and put him in his chair.
Okay. And did Gwendy say anything to you after she picked him up and put him in his chair? Okay. Did you think he had hit his head hard enough to cause some kind of serious injury? All the time we've been talking, did you feel that may have been what caused this? Yes? Okay. And you were reluctant to tell us why?
I wasn't thinking about it, thinking that, maybe when I stepped out of the room, he could have...
Well, you just told me you said you were worried about your job.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. You want some more water or a bathroom break or anything?
They leave the room. When Falenko comes back, he brings the autopsy and takes 8 minutes to walk a 22-year-old teacher's aide through how a child's skull is opened and weighed.
Let me explain here. It's what we did here. We got a team. One of our teams is with a physician who specializes, in these types of injuries. He can look at the parameters of an injury, and based on the autopsy, that was performed yesterday. Do you know how an autopsy works?
They search and find.
They do
like an examination or try to find out. what-
without getting into graphic details, they basically dissect the body, okay, and they look at every aspect of the body, from bruising. They photograph, they look at bruising, they run blood toxicology for drugs. When it comes to cranial injury, a head, they'll of course look at the skull. They look at the size of the brain, they measure it, they weigh it. Have you ever seen photographs of what something looks like, underneath flesh, where it's bruised or there's a clot?
Yeah.
Okay, it's very prominent.
Okay.
The entire process is very, very exact. They've been doing it for years. Okay, and I'm not going to go into forensics 101 with you with an autopsy, but they're able to tell down to the minutest detail the extent of the injury, what could cause it, what couldn't cause it. The brain sits in a liquid mass, okay? So when a person gets a concussion, you heard that term, what happens is the brain swells and there's fluid around the brain and it expands, and that's why it makes your head really ache, okay? Literally it swells. When the brain is also injured, it can bleed, and in an autopsy, the blood forms at the point of injury, and you can tell based on the bone, the damage, because a skull fracture literally means this bone here is broken.
Broken?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? And it's not that easy, especially in an infant or a younger child, to break bone with mild impact because the bone is soft.
Okay.
Okay? So it's very flexible. In fact, the bone has, and the skull hasn't formed, so there's cracks
Okay.
where it floats and it moves, okay? When you hit something, you know, in your little physics lesson, there's a cause and an action, okay?
Yeah.
So, like if you're sitting in a car and you get rear-ended, what happens? Your body flings forward?
And it goes back.
Correct. It's the same thing the head does in the brain. Okay? When you're hit back a certain way, the head flings forward. Okay? And what does that do? It shifts. And that'll cause bruising on the brain. Point of impact, where the brain gets hit, you know, is really going to be prominent.
And here is the sentence that closes the door on the version she just gave them.
You know, we examined photographs, and so does the doctor, you know, and they've been at the autopsy. And it's obvious that, yeah, there's an injury to the back of the head, okay, which is consistent with kind of what you said. However, two things that are inconsistent.
Okay.
The extent of the injury, under no circumstances, can be caused by that minor of an event,
Okay.
falling backwards.
On backwards?
Okay. Secondly, the front of the brain is also slightly bruised,
Okay.
so there's a whiplash effect.
Okay.
Thirdly, I made a comment to you, I don't know, somewhere earlier today, where I described the fall or the injury being like somebody being dropped from the second floor
Yeah.
of a building. That's still the extent of the injury with a second independent opinion from an expert.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what we.
Two inconsistencies, a second opinion, and the head teacher. He tells her Wendy says it did not happen. Every route out of the room is now blocked, including the one they handed her 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
You were saying that she wouldn't pick them up.
Yeah.
She doesn't recall.
She doesn't recall.
Not that she doesn't recall, she says it didn't happen.
Okay. This one it happened.
Okay.
Or it could have happened maybe
You know,
earlier.
look, here's what we still believe that. You're right on the cusp of really telling us what happened here. But you're reluctant because you're still scared, you're still worried. And again, please, I know you are. Don't take us as being amateurs at this. We've done it. And we know, we're always careful when we talk to people because we don't want people facilitating stories just to make us happy. It's not. It really isn't. We've done this numerous times. People have told us their most uncomfortable secrets, and they've confided in us. And we know the difference between somebody telling us something. It's almost like a child. If you interview a child, you got to really be careful because they're so impressionable. They'll tell you what you want to hear. Adults sometimes are almost in the same way because I know you want to do the right thing, and I know in your mind you're a smart person. You're still trying to just kind of figure out what's a plausible explanation here. But I just want to keep emphasizing to you that when you tell us something, we can, because of the situation and because of the medical processes involved and the science involved, we can walk out of here and confirm it or tell you, no, that's not what happened. Remember when I told you that every time you do that, it takes a little bit of your credibility away. Okay?
Then the tone drops into something almost gentle. Snowsuits, 2 children a year apart. Everybody loses it at some point. Listen for the 2 words buried in it.
It was, they were both only about a year apart, so they're both, they were still young. I mean, they were both kind of growing up at the same time. I didn't have 8 of them to deal with. I only had 2, or I didn't have 4. I had 2. And that was frustrating enough, trying to load them, unload them, get them in the snow. So I was telling him today that I don't miss these days. We're trying to get them both in the snowsuits. They're both screaming. They're both this. If one was well, the other one was sick. It kind of multiplies things, because here, not only is all that happening, but you've got your personal issues. You're tired, you work, you've got, personal problems, whatever. All that kind of multiplies, and you lose it at some point. You really just do. Everybody at some point just has it or whatever. And it's not intentional. It's not. It just happens, People just snap, and they come to that point where they boil over, and it happens. We've got this narrowed down to a very, very tight time frame. And there's only one thing here, is that something happened where you got frustrated, aggravated, whatever, and I'm telling you, it was not intentional. It was an accident. But it wasn't him flipping backwards. It wasn't. You know that. We know that. The forensic scientists are telling us that. Wendy tells us that what you told us didn't happen. Okay? You need to clear the air here and tell us. You really do. And I know you've been sitting here thinking about it. You can't manipulate out of this. You really can't. You just need to come forward and tell us. You really do. Something frustrated you. Something happened. Okay? I know you didn't know the extent of Ben's injury. I know you didn't know that. And it's been eating you up these last few days. I know it has. I mean, I could tell it in your eyes. And you're going like this today. Right? One minute you're feeling like, I'm done with this. And then, we just come back here and we say, look, you're not. You're not, because this is what we found out. This is fact. Okay? You really need to just tell me something. What you're describing to us did not happen. Mathematically, it couldn't have happened, and physics-wise, it couldn't have happened. Something else happened.
We're thinking like something happened, and doing it normally, everything would be fine. Like, if George was a baby and I put him in a chair, he'd go in the chair, he'd go to sleep. But maybe on this instance, maybe the chair rocked back. There was a wall behind the chair. It rocked back, and he tumbled back and hit his head on the ground. There was something that happened, and we know.
Where he was sitting and where I placed him, it was kind of by the changing table and the garbage can. And when I was taking him out, I probably, because I didn't stand behind him, I was on the side grabbing him, and he probably hit his head on the back of the changing table. That's the side of the changing table. That's the only thing I can think of.
She has just tried the changing table. It doesn't hold either. 2 hours 39, and Kern stops asking about Ben and asks about her.
You would know if he hit his head or not. This injury was like my partner said, it's like someone getting dropped off a second story. The baby would have started to cry. It would have happened right when this whole thing went down. It would have happened right before it, I think. You would have known. You know exactly when the incident took place. You're making yourself look real bad. We're trying to think that you didn't intend on this injury to happen. You didn't intend on this to happen. But for whatever reason, it did happen. Okay? We need to know, and we need you to tell us, and you need to be honest to help yourself out here. You should be honest with us. What are you most afraid of? Just tell me about this whole situation.
That it could be my fault.
Okay.
I just don't know how.
Okay, but what are you most afraid of if it is your fault?
Everyone won't talk to me.
Who?
Their co-workers.
Co-workers? Why?
I don't know.
You think that they never made a mistake in their life?
I just have a gut feeling it's like it should be my fault. Ever since I got a piece of paper, I just felt like, what did I do wrong? And I've been trying to think through, and that's why I haven't been able to
sleep much because I'm trying to think, what did I do? Or what did Nancy do?
Right. What are you most afraid of if you did something? That your coworkers would talk to you?
And then I
Come
probably
on,
would get a fine or go to jail or something.
Well,
I don't
Melissa,
know.
if you didn't, our goal is if you didn't intend on causing pain or to somebody, we wouldn't want you to go to.
Her greatest fear, sitting in a homicide interview about a dead 16-month-old, is that her coworkers will stop talking to her.
It's like that whole accident theory. If it was a complete accident, even if it was something out of frustration, and maybe you put him in a chair too hard and the chair flipped over, we need to know, but we need to know now. You're worried about your co-workers? Give me a fucking break. This kid's dead. Fuck your co-workers, okay? I mean...
And your family's always going to be there for you.
Always.
They're not going to think anything less of you because they know you as an individual. They know you as a person. Who the fuck, you know, if these guys, how about this? If they're thinking, if you don't clarify this, then what the fuck do you think your co-workers are going to be thinking this whole time anyways? But if you bring this out, we know. There's no doubt about it. It was an accident. And tell me that they've never erred in judgment. Come on.
That should be the last thing that you're worried
Absolutely.
about. That's the last thing you should worry about. Everything else, like I said, if stuff was an accident or you didn't intend for Ben to get hurt severely, we don't think you did. We thought maybe you got frustrated, maybe something happened, you dropped. We don't know exactly what, but we know it happened within minutes from the time he went unresponsive, and we know you were the only one in the room, and we know it's something he can't cause by himself. So, Melissa, when this is all said and done, we have to clear this with the state's attorney to say what our opinion is and what happened here, and they're going to ask us, well, is this a person who's sorry for what they did? Is this a person who was cooperative with you? All this stuff's going to come into effect, and we're going to be able to say at the end of this, Melissa was very cooperative with us. She talked to us and she told us the truth. By her telling us the truth, we're able to get some resolution to this case and some closure to the family. We'll go tell the people at your work that this guy, whatever you want us to tell them, that's the least of your concerns right now. But we know for a fact this happened moments before he lost consciousness, and we know you were the only one in the room. So please tell us what happened. Please don't make us drag everything out of you because it makes it seem like you're being deceitful.
That is the last thing said to her before her account changes for good. And watch what it changes into. Not a blow, a slip.
When I took him out, I watched him. He was at the edge, and I heard his head hit the back of the table because I didn't fully put him down. It kind of almost slipped when I dropped him, and he hit the chair. And then I heard it. And he didn't. It was fine though, and I made sure that.
The changing table?
No, the wooden chair. Of the wooden chairs.
Like the adult wooden chairs? Or
The
The baby chair.
chair.
Yeah. They have little straps in them.
He hit the back of it.
You hit the back of with his head. That's okay. It's all we've been trying to get from you for this whole time. I know you're upset, okay? I know that you're upset about this, Melissa. But stuff like this happens all the time. You didn't want in time for this little boy to die, right? And who knows? He could have had some pre-existing condition. You know, who knows? But
when you put him in the chair, were you holding him?
No, I
Okay.
just picked him up.
Where was he when you picked him up?
He was on the floor.
On the floor? And why did you pick him up?
Because I just wanted to put him in there and give him a snack right away.
Okay. And did you drop him? Is that what you said? Or
When I took him out of the chair.
okay, so you put him in the chair to get him a snack,
Yeah,
and then when you picked him up, you dropped him.
it kind of slipped. Yeah.
You slipped.
Yeah.
Okay, and you hit his head on the back of the top part of the chair.
Yeah.
And did he yell or scream?
No.
He didn't do anything.
Let me check his head.
Note the exchange that follows. Not one detail of it originates with her. The drop, the chair, the height, the wet hands, every element arrives as a question first.
that's fine.
It's fine.
We
know that.
we
We know
understand
that.
that you're scared, and we were not lying to you here. We need to know the truth. It's going to help us, okay, Melissa? And promise me one thing, that you won't lie again, and I promise you we're gonna make things as easy as possible on you, as long as you don't lie to us, okay? Did you drop the baby? Did you slam him on the chair?
It's just
He slipped? Why were you afraid to tell us he slipped? Did you slam him on the chair? You sure? You wouldn't do that? He just slipped? In the back, his head hit the back of the chair? Why would he have some brute? Did he hit the ground after that, or what happened after he hit the chair?
he
No, on his body, so he fell out of your hands?
when I put him down, I took him out of the snack chair, and then I wiped him, cleaned him up, and then when I put him down, the other chair was behind me, and I wasn't paying attention. He slipped out of my hands, and he hit
How far did he slip?
like a little bit like right there.
Don't exaggerate it to make it sound better. If it's an accident, it's an accident. You got to tell us
Right.
exactly, because we're going to have to be able to prove
What
that.
you're telling us, scientific, remember what I told you? So you need to really be specific about how it slipped and how far down you went.
It
So,
wasn't that far to a point where it slipped, like he fell off balance, and then he hit his head, and he sat on the floor.
What did he hit his head on?
Wood.
A chair? A back of a chair? And after he hit his head, did he fall onto the floor?
He fell, but he went through the crawl to get his blanket after that.
But
So-
he hit his head and then fell to the ground? And how were you standing up when this happened? Were you standing straight up?
Yeah, I was back, and I was like this, and it slipped.
Yeah. He slipped, then slipped?
Yeah.
if I show you a picture of the chair, would you recognize it?
The wooden table?
The wooden table that he hit his head on?
He hit his head on a wooden
Table
table?
or a
Or
chair?
the chair.
Which one was it?
The chair.
Did you, hang on. Did you change him prior to that?
No,
You didn't? What did
I changed it before that.
What did you put him in the chair for?
I didn't, the snack,
He was sitting at the snack table, right?
yeah, regular
You
chair.
took him out of the snack,
When he was done, I took him out, washed him off, and everything else, and when I put him down, that's when I slipped, and it was right there between the tile and
did
the
you
carpet.
slip, or did he slip out of your hand? Did you actually fall down with him?
No, I didn't.
Did you drop him? Okay. Where were you putting him back to? A different chair?
No,
You were bringing him to the floor?
I was bringing him to the floor.
Okay. And was that at the same time while Nancy left the room?
Yeah, she had her back turned.
She had her back
Doing
turned?
the dishes.
Did he start crying right away? He didn't scream or anything? And then, so you just, after that, what did you do?
I continued my normal routine.
No, what did you do with him? Did he just put him on the floor? And
Did you
then,
put him on the floor, or did he roll onto the floor?
He went on the floor.
Okay, after he slips, hits his head on the chair, and then he's on the floor.
And he started crawling
Where did he crawl to?
to the other chair, recliner, to get his blanket, and then to the spot.
And then, after he got there, how long after that did you notice he was starting to kind of look sleepy?
5 minutes later.
is that why you were keeping such a good eye on him? Because you were worried about him hitting his head?
Yeah.
And then that's why you were watching him? So you were watching him real close. Why would he do that?
Because I didn't know if it took him back, because he wasn't showing any signs.
And what was the first thing you noticed?
That he wasn't responding, like, he just wasn't.
Did you drop him? Yes. 3 hours after she sat down, that is the first word out of her mouth that the state will be able to use.
So why do you think, just besides the normal fall, why do you think he hit his head so hard? Besides for that, because you lost balance?
He did.
You did? Was he like flailing in your arms or anything? No? So she just dropped
I
him.
didn't pay attention.
When we talked to Nancy, is she going to say he was screaming and crying and you were upset with him or anything like that? Totally not the case.
And she had her back turned, she was doing dishes when this
And
happened.
a couple minutes later is when she left the room. Did you tell anybody that you dropped him at all? Your sister or your boyfriend?
No.
Why not? You're afraid. He's not going to say she was, the last she heard of him, he was screaming and crying while she was washing dishes. He didn't do anything to frustrate you? Was this something out of frustration? Huh? No? How do I know you're telling me the truth?
Because I did. He was fine. I wasn't frustrated. I was just taking him out, trying to hurry and get Paul out of the chair. I just wasn't paying attention.
What do you mean by not paying attention?
Like where I put him, where I was at.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, did you let go thinking he was secure? Did you let go of him a couple of feet early or something?
Yeah.
Because you were just in a hurry? Because I'm just saying stuff. You tell me why.
Like, I thought he had his
Then they bring in a chair and ask her to show them.
So he hit the back of it with his head and then he hit the floor?
and he went straight to the when I dropped him. The chair was like right there, and he hit his head. And then he just like leaned forward. And then after that,
Did he hit the front of his head when he leaned forward?
No.
But when he hit the back of the chair, when he went down to the ground, did his head hit the ground at any time too?
The forward, no.
So he hit the chair backwards, did his body go forward then? It did?
Yeah, when we get something, maybe you can show us exactly, because it's hard to explain, okay? So we're going to use a chair and I'm going to get you something.
Yeah.
All right.
You didn't tell anybody about this? No? If you didn't mean for it to happen,
It didn't.
it's okay, okay? People make mistakes all the time.
Just show us how, and we'll use this as a chair.
So what were you doing? Where were you coming from with the baby?
The kitchen, I was like this. And I unbuckled him. And then I took
And you were
him.
standing in the back of the chair or in front of it?
I was like this.
Up and side, okay?
And I picked him up.
Yeah.
And I was like this. And then I took him over to the sink to get his hands washed.
Okay.
And then I'm watching as I dried off his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't think, I slipped from the water or whatever.
So your hands were wet?
A little wet. And then, I walked forward a little bit, and there was, on the other side of it, there was a chair. And I put him down. I wasn't even, really looking.
Well, pretend this is the actual chair.
This is the chair that I took him.
Okay. Okay.
And then when I put him down, his head went plunk.
No, well, show us. Pretend this is like a foot off the ground.
Well, when I put him down, I wasn't paying attention. I was like this, and then his head went plunk really hard because I dropped him. I lost balance, and I just went like that, and then I lost balance because he was on between the tile and the floor.
So you hit his head on the chair, and then he lost balance, and what, flipped out of the chair?
When I dropped him,
Right.
his head hit the back of the chair, and I dropped him because it was so, I thought he was going to stand.
Mm-hmm.
And because he had almost the formation of standing up. And then when I dropped him, he went like this.
All right, so you're doing good. Sit down. Just sit down. Just listen. You don't need to convince Sean and I that you are sorry. Okay? You don't. Your family loves you. They're going to be very supportive. You're doing the right thing here.
Curran asks for it again. Watch the account grow each time it is performed, and watch who is asking for bigger.
I want to see this though again. I'm still
Yeah.
having some difficulty. I'm sorry. I know this is hard, but I gotta understand this fully. Show me exactly
and describe everything, because I need to get this through my head.
Okay. He was sitting.
Okay, this is a chair.
That's the chair he was in.
Okay.
I'm sitting on the side. I unbuckled him, and then I picked him up. I didn't even have him facing me. I took him to the sink, wiped off his hands because he was full of graham crackers or animal crackers, and then after that, I was holding him like that, and then after when I was done, I wasn't even having my eye on him. When I dropped him, like I went like this, and then he was like this, and then his feet were kind of like this, starting to stand. So I thought he was gonna stand.
And this is on another chair?
No, it was on the floor.
On the floor, okay.
And then he lost his balance when I dropped him because I thought he had it, and his head hit back.
So, let's say this is the floor. We'll say this is lower. Okay, look at the bar down here. Okay? So he slips and he falls back and he hits his head on the chair like that? Is that it?
And then what happens to his body?
And then he just like,
Show us what the...
Show us what
There it is, said out loud. That doesn't seem like enough force to cause this. The account she has just given them, after 3 hours, still does not match the autopsy. So they keep going.
So here, this is the chair. He hits his head on the edge of the chair.
yeah.
Right? Slips and hits it.
And then he leans forward,
Uh-huh.
and then after that he sits back up, and then he walks toward, he's crawling on hands and knees to get his blanket, and that was it. And then he went to his spot.
He didn't fall again?
No.
So you put him down on the ground,
Yeah.
and you thought... So
He
you,
had his balance.
did you drop him before his feet hit the ground?
No.
Very important. Tell us it.
Did you?
Yeah,
did
no. It was like tiptoe, like,
Tiptoe?
yeah.
So his head fell back like that?
He hit the...
Did he go forward then like that at all? He caught himself? Because that doesn't seem like enough force to cause this.
That's what happened. He hit his head, and I tried.
So how long after that happened did she go out of the room?
It was like a minute later. And she didn't hear nothing because she had her back towards the room. She had her back towards, she wasn't facing it. She was doing the dishes. So it was like, I wasn't even paying attention when I dropped him. Because I had to get all the other kids out.
But you thought he was on his feet and you let go of him? Or did you drop him before his feet hit the ground? Did you think he was on the ground?
Yeah.
So his feet weren't on the ground? No? It's okay. But you got to tell us this. How high off the ground do you think he was?
This is all going to make sense.
Like this much.
Don't exaggerate stuff to think that it's going to make your story better, because it'll make it worse. Tell me exactly.
It wasn't that much off the
So you
ground.
thought he was on the ground and you let go? Is that what happened?
And he fell like that and hit the back of his head.
Because he was like leaning, he wasn't like leaning forward. He was sitting up, like, he was like up like this, like straight up. And like when he fell back, I heard him hit his head, I did. And then he just like went, like he like swung a little bit forward onto the floor. And then he was like that and sat back up. And then he just crawled to his blanket, and that was it.
And then when he got to his blanket, you were still keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
And what happened?
He crawled to the chair, to his spot, and I was like keeping an eye on him. And then his sister and another kid went by him, and he was fine. They were cleaning everything, and then all of a sudden, like a second later, you just see him sit and pale, and I called him, and no response, so I went to him, and I told him, I was like, Ben, he didn't wake up or anything. I shook his arm, like I said, and then I went to get the phone, and Crystal heard me, and that's when she came in, and I still was on the phone, saying that I need help, and then Crystal said, Beth, I need you in here, like, right away.
And you didn't tell Crystal what really happened?
No.
Because we got two guys we don't want to find out that she knows all about this
Yeah.
and that you lied to us.
You didn't tell me.
She initials a diagram of the table and the chair And then comes the line that tells you what everyone in that room understands about the last 3 hours.
And then you just talk to your boyfriend about it.
No, he's not.
He didn't tell anybody.
I didn't tell
They're not in
anybody.
trouble if you
I
did.
know.
It'll actually give us some,
Yeah, no, I know.
witnesses to your story.
Yeah, no, I kept it to myself.
So, we're not gonna find out that this was, your story is impossible. Is this the truth?
It is.
It is? So he wasn't quite on the ground?
No,
You thought he was? You let go? Did he hit the back of his ankles and fall back, or did his back just start falling back right
no,
away?
he hit the back of his ankle.
And then he hit at the back of his head so hard, he came forward right away?
Are these the types of chairs, like in that bottom picture?
Yeah,
That's it?
it was this,
What did he hit it on, the armrest or the back
the
part?
back part of this chair, because it was, the kids, they don't how to push out, and it wasn't the edge. Because like, here was the chair, right around here, and the chair was pushed out, and it was moved from the kids, and that's when he hit it.
Is that the table in the room?
Yeah.
That is the table? Okay. Can you just do me a favor and circle the table and the chair and just put your...
So you didn't slam him for doing anything wrong?
No,
Huh? Would you do something like that?
never,
Never?
never.
So this was clear that you just weren't paying attention, you thought he was on the ground? I just want to make sure, because, there's been a couple of stories, I want to make sure this is your final one. That's why I was asking you if you told anybody. Okay. Give us a minute, okay? Everything's going to be all right in the future. You're going to be happy that you got this off your chest, okay? Give us a second. Melissa, the chair, when his head hit the chair, where was the chair in relation to the table?
It was moved away from the table.
And what happened to the chair after his head hit it?
And we just heard a loud noise.
It didn't move, the
It
chair?
kind of wiggled, and that was it.
It wiggled?
10 minutes on how heavy a toddler's chair is because the version they now have still has to survive a pathologist. Listen to Falenko do the arithmetic out loud.
Yeah.
Are the chairs real heavy?
No.
No. It just wiggled?
Yeah, because it was on between the tile and the carpet. It was on like
The chair?
Yeah, the chair. There's like a curve where that stick of it was standing on it, and when you hit it, the thing wiggled.
What kept the chair from like falling back if his head hit the top of it?
The weight
The weight of what?
of the entire chair, the bottom of it, it wasn't light at all. It was probably heavier. It was heavier than the top part.
How heavy do you think the chair is? I mean, is it a heavy chair to pick up and move?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just think the weight kept it from moving? Okay. Do you think he weighed more than the chair? Okay. Was the chair, the legs, is it 4 legs, or is it, did you say half of them were on the wood and half was on the tile and half was on the carpet?
There was the center part, and right there was a line where the tip of it was at, where, it can wiggle. And when you hit it, it like moved, but it moved back.
The chair moved back? So if this was the chair,
Yeah.
it hit it, it has 4 legs going to the ground? Are all the legs on carpet?
The 2 legs were on the tile, and then the other 2, it's like on the, it was like sideways, in other words, like this, and it was like this actually, because like the chair and everything, the blanket,
Yeah.
is where he was trying to go at, and like when I dropped him, I wasn't paying attention, and then this was like on the rubber part to cover the ceiling or whatever, the round of the cement and the carpet, and like he hit it from the ceiling, and it went like
Pathologist is usually there, does the autopsies and does all the measurements, and we've got a couple of concerns about how far Ben fell and the chair, whether it was stationary, meaning solid. Okay.
it was on the corner of the rubber, and where we split in the carpet, the tile into the hole, and one leg was on it, and then the little thing.
No, that's not what. That he's just wondering, like where you dropped the baby from, how high the baby was off the ground. The chair was pulled off from the table, you said?
Yeah, they pushed it out.
Mm-hmm.
And when I dropped him, he was like this much.
You mean that bottom of his legs were where your hands were? The bottom of his legs were? Mm-hmm. So he fell 2 feet to the floor?
And that, okay, so it was a little higher than what you told us. The bottoms of his feet were about, it looks like about a foot and a half off the ground, so the top of his head was probably about 3 or 4 feet. Okay. And did the chair move and when he hit it?
Moved back.
The chair did?
It moved on his head.
What they're gonna do is they're gonna bring that chair over here, and then the doctor, either over here, or they're gonna bring the chair to the doctor, and he's gonna make sure that this is possible, because they can tell exactly if that's what caused the injury.
The recording ends there, mid-sentence, with 2 detectives about to take a daycare chair to a pathologist to see whether the story they have just built with Melissa Calusinski can carry a fractured skulls. It could not. So the questioning continued. By the end of a day that ran close to 10 hours, Melissa was no longer describing a slip. On a later tape, she says she threw Ben to the floor because she was frustrated and demonstrates the force by slamming a folder down on the table. That is the statement that went to the jury. She was charged with first-degree murder. In November 2011, she was convicted, and in February 2012, she was sentenced to 31 years. Since then, the evidence underneath that verdict has come apart in public. A later Lake County coroner re-examined the autopsy material and reported an older injury with scar tissue, the bump Melissa mentioned in this recording, hours before she admitted to anything. In 2015, a clear copy of Ben's skull X-ray was found in the coroner's own archive. The copy the defense was given and before trial was dark and unreadable. The pathologist who performed the autopsy later signed an affidavit accepting he had missed a prior injury, while maintaining it would not have changed his testimony. A clemency petition was filed in 2024, and the Prisoner Review Board sent its recommendation to the governor of Illinois in January 2025. The Lake County State's Attorney's Office opposed it. No decision has been announced. She is still in custody and not eligible for parole until 2039. Nothing in this recording establishes what happened to Benjamin Kingan on the 14th of January, 2009. What it does establish, minute by minute, is where every detail of the story that convicted Melissa Calusinski came from. And it was not from her. It was from the 2 men sitting across the table, saying it first. If this is the kind of breakdown you were looking for, subscribing means you'll see the next one.